Good afternoon. Can you all hear me? Thank you, Sanjana. And I think Sanjana's introduction was not only passenger express, it was super fast. And she rightfully says she speaks very fast, One candid admission that is speaking very fast. Good. I'm so happy that I'm seeing all of you here. And I'll be really glad if people at the back benches can come up and occupy these seats at the front so I can see you better. Okay, thank you very much. Because some logistic issues, I think the number of people who could join have not been able to do so, but then we'll have some other sessions for them. Okay, have you all had lunch with you or not? Your lunch? Had lunch, Pakka? How many have not had lunch or feeling hungry? I said not hungry, not lunch, but not feeling hungry. Okay, good. But if you're feeling hungry, you can let me know. We got some sandwiches here. Sure. This is offer. Okay. Azkal Diwali offer, mega offer, this offer. So we have some sandwich offer also in Vision. Okay. But the whole purpose is that if you're feeling hungry, then you'll not be able to absorb a lot of things out here. Okay. So it's good. I'm seeing a bright students out here. And I presume all of you cleared the prelims and waiting for the results, or some of you. Okay. How many of you have cleared the prelims and waiting for the results? Right. But the prelims, but the main result is going to come out in second week of December, I was told. Second week of December. All those guys who have second week of December, I think it will start. Okay. So that, the process of what do you call interview will start sometime in January, February. Okay, good. So today, basically, and how many of you have attended my talks before, either in the foundation or otherwise? Online or foundations and so on. So, okay, some of you. All right. Ever since I've been associated with Vision out here, basically we are working on a strategy of how to develop the personality requirement of the people, and which is essentially an examination oriented. You see, when you develop personalities are developed for various things. Okay, like I'm from the armed forces, I'm in the army, so we undergo tremendous amount of training curriculum in our academies, and by the time we actually come out of the training institutes, frankly speaking, all of us get a total change, 360 degrees. Okay, the amount of ragada, the punishments, the ragging, and the rigors of the military training changes life. And another personality changes takes place depending upon the regiment that you actually join. Right? Some of the officers were very calm, quiet, who used to come from southern part of India. If they happen to join a Sikh regiment, Sardar regiment or a Jat regiment, ठीक है, वहाँ पर उनकी लैंग्वेज चेंज हो जाता है, ठीक है. जब तक you don't start the day with some little galis in the morning, okay, कुछ बंदे काम ही नहीं करते बिल्कुल. But you try that in a South Indian regiment, okay, you had it. People, they will rebel in the battalion. So over a period of time, those calm, quiet people, their personality got changed so much that when we met them after 5-6 years of service, उनसे बात ही नहीं कर सकते थे हम, because everything is starting with a gali, okay, and different type of talk. So this is how a human personality changes. Not to make you serious, what I want to tell you is that this is a very dynamic issue, individual personality. A lot of people keep saying this is a constant affair and all. No, it doesn't happen like this. It is highly environmentally related, okay, and it's a continuous process. It's a continuous process. So when we are talking about personality, and everywhere that I address, not only here, even during the time when I was heading my state commission, and also now I'm part of the committee of examination reforms here in UPSC. We've been telling that, in earlier days, like in our generations or your father's generations and all, a lot of people got opportunity during schools and colleges to actually develop personality because the number of students are not very high. Okay, it was less. The student to teacher ratio was very less. The teacher could actually put lot of focus onto the students, and the students were very strongly linked to the pair to the teachers. So personality of the teachers, personality of the parents, personality of elders influence to quite an extent on individual personality. Today, um, definitely in the schools and colleges it's not happening. Okay, except you get only impressed with very few teachers that you admire. Parents to some extent, but beyond the circle of family and parents, when you goes to uncle, elders, this and that influence is almost gone. Then the co-curricular activities, lot of adventure activities used to take place, sports used to take place, and so on. So that was a very wonderful breeding ground, to develop one's personality. Now the question is that how does it really matter to me if I want to become a bureaucrat or a police officer or a income tax officer? Why it is essential that I should develop my person? जो मैं हूँ जो हूँ, पढ़ाई लिखा मैं पास कर लिया तो हो जाएगा यार, उसमें क्या प्रॉब्लम है? No. Why we insist so much in civil services and also in the defense services is because you will be dealing with human lives. Unlike a technocrat who deals with machines, as administrator, as civil services officer, civil servants, you will be dealing essentially with human lives. And each decision of yours is going to impact a huge amount of people. Hence, when we look for people in the civil services, we start looking for people who can communicate well to their subordinates, who can communicate well with different groups of people, who can think in a very logical manner, who should be able to understand the problems of the people concerned and translate it on the ground to, and try to solve that particular problem with certain amount of solutions per se. So the amount of empathy that is required as a personality, the amount of comprehension, the amount of understanding and decision making, which is basically a factor of your general awareness, and also the amount of the more you open up your mind, okay, the more you start becoming a good decision maker. So when you want to select in people like you who have qualified, taken the rigorous test of the written, and then come out here waiting for you to be selected, it becomes actually a very difficult task for us. Let me tell you this. You might be thinking that oh, इंटरव्यू बोर्ड सर लोग को तो क्वेश्चन ही तो पूछना है, जवाब तो हमें ही देना है. Okay, but no. Every question that we ask is so designed and so tailor-made to elicit a particular type of response. And from that response, we start interpreting as to what could be your personality qualities. Sir. It's a very difficult task to assess your own personality, or somebody else's personality, just in a matter of about half an hour, 40 minutes. People say after getting married, 30 years later also, we can't understand your own wife also. Okay, same of course, wife and husband. Wife can understand husband also. 30 साल गुजर जाता है तो 30 मिनट में क्या निकालेंगे हम personality. So that is why the system allows people like us with no hair, with grey hair, bald people, okay, to come and sit in front of you to assess, because this is what our experience shows. So with experience, we have to devise tools. These civil services devises tools of a different nature. Through knowledge, we extricate. In defense services, our tools are through behavior pattern, we extricate personalities. Both tools have seen the test of time and has been found to be valid. So at the end of the day, if somebody gets selected or somebody doesn't get selected, you should be pretty sure that you have undergone a particular process which has been time tested. But the mistakes that most of the students or the candidates do is that they leave it towards the end. कि एक बार तो रिटन टेस्ट हो जाने तो उसके बाद ही सोचेंगे क्या पूछेंगे ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा करंट अफेयर कुछ पूछ लेंगे कुछ क्या हो रहा है इधर पूछ लेंगे दे विल आस्क यू अबाउट कॉलेज दे विल आस्क यू अबाउट स्कूल्स बोल देंगे यार रिटन टेस्ट में तो क्लियर हो गया और क्या चाहिए यस since the ratio of selection after a written test vis-a-vis interview comes down drastically less, that out of 3 you get selected 1, so you just keep taking chances and so and so. It is 3 now or 2 here ratio 2.5 what of it. Okay, my state I had put it down to just 2. Okay, UPSC works for 2.5 to 3, so you just take a chance. चलो कोई बात नहीं, वो निकल ही जाएंगे. थोड़ा बहुत करंट अफेयर ठीक ठाक कर लेते हैं, थोड़ा वो कर लेते हैं. वैसे तो मैं क्लास स्कूल में डिवाइड करता था, ठीक है ना, अंग्रेजी तो ठीक बोल ही लेता हूँ, क्या प्रॉब्लम है, क्लियर हो जाएगा. वेल यू मस्ट स्टिल क्लियर. बट should you miss out with just few marks, okay, it's like a लूडो गेम, द स्नेक गल्प्स यू, आप पूरे नीचे आ जाओगे, ठीक है ना, और दोबारा द होल प्रोसेस स्टार्ट्स. सो द पेन ऑफ मिसिंग आउट बाय फ्यू मार्क्स, by few marginal this thing, because you could not pay attention to what you actually wanted, could have developed over a period over some period of time that you are here, having taken the advantage of being in an institution like this where they keep you for about a year plus, okay, as I look at it, is something which is very very a basic omission in the entire process of your preparation. Because the preparation need not, yes, unless you clear the first 2 stages, obviously the third stage doesn't arise, that's okay. But neglecting the third stage to be developed at a much later stage gives you very less amount of time to move ahead and prepare yourself. If you are fortunate, if you are gifted, well, you will get through, there's no doubt about it. But on the gift part of any personality or anything is very very less as far as the overall ratio is concerned. So all of us need to develop that. What is it that you need to develop? There are a lot of questions which remains in your mind. I'll try to basically resolve that as far as possible. Okay, taking care of certain issues. We'll try to have a very informal this thing. Okay, I'm not taking a full class of yours. You can always have any doubts, you can raise your hand, okay, to ask a question, though we have an interactive session towards the end. Okay, all you're going to do is by and large cover this on the following heads. And a lot of people ask, what is it that actually, the UPSC in the interview, what they start looking for? You are looking for your certain streaks, traits, okay, personalities which are available. Now, this is a very varied thing, as far as your personality traits are concerned. Let me tell you. Corporates look into some different aspects. The defense services look into certain things. The civil services look into this. But across the board, there are certain common features which actually we look for. Now, at the civil services, which has been given out by the UPSC, are defined out here. So we will try to analyze those features, those traits, because the people who come to actually interview are also looking for this. So what does it mean when they give out these particular traits per se? They're very simple language which you can also interpret. But then what is it? Usko dekhne ke liye that what is it that the people do and what does it mean as far as things are concerned? Okay, can somebody read out what is the thing like this? And the black T-shirt. Can you read out what are the desired traits?
Mental alertness and critical assimilation.
Okay.
And the second one is clear and logical exposition and balance of judgment.
Okay.
And third is depth of interest, social cohesion and leadership, sir.
Okay.
And the next one is intellectual and moral integrity and positive mindset Innovative thinking, sir.
So ये सारे चीज क्या एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर को चाहिए नहीं चाहिए, जरूरी है ना, कुछ छूट गया है? Anything that you feel that a future administrator, you want to become an IAS or an IPS, that you feel that you need to have. New Jersey, 1995. Yeah. Okay. Decisiveness, it's decision making. Okay, part of leadership. Balance of judgment hai. Or kuch anything else. Let's be clear that I hope the people that are looking for, we got everything there. Empathy, compassion, what else? Endurance, fortitude. Okay, what else? Communication skills. Does it get covered anywhere out here? Yeah, exposition, yes. What else? Efficiency. What do you mean by efficiency?
The qualitative outcome can come with the deep understanding of the issue and also the compassion to make it at efficiently level, means achieving the objective with optimum efforts, and also all the interest of the stakeholders are understood and also fulfilled at some degree.
Just look deeply at all these things because they're sufficient high. People have these things. So tell me, what's your name? Good name, bete?
So Vidya.
Vidya says efficiency, something has to be included. Does it get covered with the existing lot anywhere? Just go through the slide deeply. See whether her point of efficiency. Otherwise, you'll be churning out a lot of successful candidates who are inefficient. Innovativeness to part out. What else? Fitness का है. I'm talking of where does her doubt says कि sir efficiency जो है वहाँ पर भी होना चाहिए. तो so many qualities have been laid down by the UPSC. It's not mine. This is laid down by the UPSC in writing, which is available in the website also. Right? This is they have laid down. They are looking for this. They are not looking for efficient people. So we don't require efficient people in this. Huh. हाँ.
कि इंटेग्रिटी हमारी कहीं ना कहीं अफेक्ट होगी अगर हम इफिशिएंट नहीं हुए तो इंटेलेक्चुअली, नॉट
Okay.
अबाउट मोरल, नॉट अबाउट morally, but
Okay.
if we are not intellectually integral, then obviously our efficiency will get affected, so this gets covered.
Efficiency get affected. Okay. Anybody else? Look deeply. Divya has got a very valid point.
So I think leadership itself involves efficiency as a trait. So leadership itself defines it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's getting that right. Okay. There are certain qualities of a human being. You see, when you talk of he's an efficient person, he's a good decision maker. Okay. Those are manifestations. Okay. The manifestation, the outputs, what you see on ground, right? But those comes out with certain basic innate traits of personality. Without that, you can't be decisive, you can't be efficient. Okay, so this is what has been ingrained into that, because if I want to find out in a short period of time whether you're efficient or not efficient, how can I say? I will ask you some questions only. No? Through answers, can I make a judgment that you are efficient? Yes. If there are behavioral part of it, if I ask you deal more of it, tell me in your school, in your college, if you are a leader, if you are a class monitor, if you are a debater, if you are so and so, or you organize a particular thing, how effectively you do it. Okay. Now, that is one aspect. But then all these answers can be structured. I can prepare myself and say that, okay, I did this, so and so and so. I'll make the interview panel go on a ride and say, I'm the most efficient guy. Okay. Here are those traits which are basically so ingrained into this thing that which are likely to be remaining in a person for a longer period of time. Okay, with less amount of deviations as far as concerned. But there are certain traits which can also be enhanced as far as the quality is concerned. So her point of Divya's point is very good in the sense that decisiveness, people came out with compassion, people came out with empathy, All these things will come into the social inclusiveness. How socially inclusive you are. If somebody comes to you, tomorrow you are an officer, you are a police officer, you are an IAS officer, otherwise so and so. If you don't give that little time, and why you don't give time is because there are many people actually be surprised who are shy of meeting people. There are many people who can't face public. There are many people who can't create conversations. Their social inclusivity is not very high. They want to just remain isolated. Or the social cohesivity. Okay, there's social interactive process. Many of you amongst you also are very shy of meeting people, are very shy of interacting with people. It is not a deficiency. There are a lot many intellectuals who are there who have been having this particular quality. But that particular quality of remaining introvert, remaining shy, may work for a scientist who doesn't have to interact with the public per se. It may work partly to some other professions who is doing a lot of research work. Because all these things requires constant work. You don't have to actually work with the public at all. But if you are trying to become a public servant, a public service that you have decided to take on, a civil service per se, you have to have the capability and ability to reach out to people of all kinds, which will also include errant people like politicians, which will also include very, very emotional people like our relatives. या तुम तो कलेक्टर बन गया, तुम मेरे लिए क्या कर रहे हो, तुम इतना नहीं कर पाते हो, एक गाड़ी नहीं दे पाओगे, फलाना नहीं कर पाओगे, मुझे उसको नौकरी देने पाओगे. I had these personal issues when I went in the Public Service Commission. I actually had to dealing with most of my relatives. I am the biggest enemy to my relatives because he says, "Banda ne kya kiya? Mera bhai hai, mera falana hai, mera wo hai." He has not helped us anything. It's a cost one has to take on when you stay in high positions, right? So how balanced, how maturedly you are able to handle your emotions at that point of time and not get carried away is all a part of social inclusivity, which through a process of question answers, we just try to find out that whether through behavioral pattern or through questions that you go back to us, just tell us your experience in school, just tell you, have you participated in a drama, have you participated in a debate, tell me what is the best adventure that you had, did you go out with so and so forth. We are just trying to find out that whether you have that little amount of initiative to take that step up and move out. Because comfort zone is a very, very, very dear thing. Who doesn't like to be in comfort zones? This is my house, this is my bed, this is my this thing. I've seen out here. Students come here, they just don't go out anywhere. They say, मुझे पढ़ाई करना है. मैं बिल्कुल छोड़ के नहीं जाऊंगा. I've given a promise to my father, mother that I have to clear these examinations. And in the process, what happens? The mind becomes close. Open up. So when you start looking for administrators, we are looking for civil services, essentially administrators. If I was looking for a different job, this thing would have been changed. Or you're still not satisfied. I will only move ahead if you feel that not because UPSC is written. If you feel so something has been left out because you are good at, कि उसको मैं डाल देता हूँ चलो उसके अंदर. हाँ भाई, तुम बहुत सोच रहे. What is अब और क्या डालना चाहिए इसके अंदर बताओ? बहुत sufficient है. Anything else to be included? Nobody is talking about emotional intelligence. Nobody is talking about this. EQ, IQ, आजकल बड़े बातें करते रहते हैं और जरूरत नहीं है. वैसे तो लीडरशिप इज फुल, सब कुछ वो कर लेता है. Okay, good. What we will do is, we will discuss this one by one, and at the end of the class, we will see whether some of these things has been left out or not included. Right? Okay. So, if you, are you clear on this particular thing? Remember this. This is not mine. This thing. This has been thought over a period of time, worked out, and put it out. I have seen many people. When I asked them in the interview, did you ever go through the website and see what is it that you're looking for? No, sir. I have not seen, sir. Have you ever, somebody told you? You'll be amazed that people have no clue कि इंटरव्यू के अंदर उनको हमें क्या, what is it that the interviewing officers are trying to find out from us? When you go to anything, you are preparing for an examination, when you are preparing for something, okay, so what is the first thing that you do? You first find out what involves this particular exam. आप रिटन टेस्ट देना चाहते हो, प्रीलिम देना चाहते हो, सबसे पहले सिलेबस देखते हो नहीं देखते हो? फर्स्ट गो थ्रू सिलेबस, यस और नोट, फिर सिलेबस देख के पढ़ते हो आप लोग. बट भाई मैं इंटरव्यू के लिए जा रहा हूं, मैं इंटरव्यू के अंदर कौन सी चीजें मुझे अंदर देखना चाहिए जिसके ऊपर मुझे नंबर मिलेगा, नंबर देंगे, हम कभी सोचते नहीं है. ब्रॉडली वी जस्ट थिंक कि कुछ करंट अफेयर्स ठीक ठाक कर दो, ठीक है ना, जनरल अवेयरनेस ठीक ठाक कर दो, जवाब ठीक हो जाना चाहिए, वो क्लियर हो जाएगा. बट थ्रू दोज क्वेश्चंस we try to find out this. So if you are aware of the nuances of this particular qualities, उसको बेटे बाद में देना, सुनो, उसको बाद में रखो, उसको रख दो, मैं बताऊंगा कब देने के लिए, बिकॉज अभी हम सोचेंगे ओके उसको यहाँ पर रख दो, विल गिव इट टुवर्ड्स द एंड. We're trying to circulate something called a DF, which you fill up before the examination. I will deal this now towards the end because that's a very important part of it. Okay, having said this, we'll come to the first part of it. This was the first point, mental alertness and critical assimilation. Now, what does it mean? Because when you saw the first point, many of you must be thinking as to what is it like. Now, when I say mental assimilation, it is there are two dimensions of a human personality. One is a cognitive dimension and second is a humanistic dimension. So we are essentially looking for cognitive dimension more into the civil services aspirants. In defense services, we get onto the humanistic dimension first. I'm just giving the difference because since I've headed both the commissions and the board of the defense and the civil services. This is where the difference lies. So what is this cognitive in nature? It's nothing but like a processing of a computer. Given a particular problem, how fast you are able to compute it. If you are good in mathematics, if you are good in a computer work and so on, so you have a better cognitive mind. It's the ability to process things. Getting my point? So having said this, now that is being processed by left part of the brain or right part of the brain? Cognitive dimension. Anybody from any psychology or any student? Yeah. Left is logical. So the cognitive part is basically dealt with by the left portion of things. Just for information, whether it is left or right, it really doesn't matter. It works. If it doesn't work, then the problem. Okay. So वो तो पता नहीं लगता है कौन से लेफ्ट है कौन से राइट है, ठीक है. तो but issue here is that the cognitive part is, we are looking at the dominant part as far as the civil service is concerned. Dimension, ability to comprehend the question, and this is one of the most important thing. Through my long series of experience of interviews, let me tell you, I can tell you with a lot of confidence that people don't actually listen to the question properly. Because what happens is that it depends upon the interviewing officer. Some people ask you direct question. Some people ask you leading question. Some people ask you, they explain a particular thing, and what they want to elicit from you, they come with a question later. Say for instance, somebody ask you something about G20. Okay. So they will tell you about, do you know that recently there was a G20 which happened? Okay. And it was attended by X number of presidents, X number of heads of the state, etc. Okay. and they came here and said this. This is style of function, a style of asking question. You can't really this thing. People who are very fatherly and all, they say कि okay नहीं बच्चा को थोड़ा पहले बताना चाहिए before you actually shoot a question. The moment you hear G20, what happens is that your mind immediately goes to something. Oh यार G20, क्या क्या point था? What are the agenda points? What are the draft points? What are फलाना point? Because you are at the receiving end, right? You start thinking in a different manner. But suddenly that fellow takes you, asks you 2, 3, give you statement. Then he says, tell me, does the corridor thing, that is Middle East corridor that was supposed to be done out here, as far as things are concerned, do you think it's a workable solution? Now, the moment you heard G20, आपके दिमाग में चला गया all the factual details that you read. So actually you are listening, but you are not listening because you are eager to retrieve those things in your mind. कि यार G20 आ गया, मजा आ गया अभी, इसको मैंने पढ़ा हूँ, ठीक है ना? अभी क्या क्या उसको पॉइंट में बता देता हूँ. Because you are eager to retrieve that thing. No. Wait till the last thing. Okay, when the interviewing officer asks, and then start working on your brain. Well, the brain will start working. You can't stop this thing. But how exactly to control and keep listening as to what is it that the interviewing officer is going to ask me is a very important thing. He might just give a background. But suddenly he might say, now tell me the next G20 is going to be held in Brazil. Do you think the Brazil will be able to do something better than India? Now you are totally bold. Because you have not thought of this particular question. But आप ये सोच रहे हो कि G20 पूछेगा तो मुझे पूछेगा भाई एजेंडा पॉइंट्स थे कितना फलाना है what are the draft declaration, what are the salient point of so and so. Yes, those are required as far things are concerned. You are lucky if you get one of those factual questions. आपने जो पढ़ा है बस आपको नंबर लग गया उसके अंदर. बट अगर बाई चांस अपने और कुछ उसने पूछ लिया, क्या उसमें बताओ, हाउ डिड मोदी स्विंग द इंक्लूजन ऑफ द अफ्रीकन यूनियन? Now all of us know fact that African Union came as the 21st member of the G20, right? This is a fact. वो आके उसको प्रेसिडेंट को गले वाले मिलकर जो उसने अफ्रीकन यूनियन का बिग मीडिया सीडिया सब कुछ हो गया. अरे भैया, what was the background and why it was necessary and what are the advantages of getting the African Union into this thing? Whatever it is, I'm just giving you. अगर आपने इसको सुना नहीं है पहले वाला क्वेश्चन को, आप तो स्टार्ट कर दोगे. आई हैव सीन मेनी कैंडिडेट्स स्टार्टिंग बीच में, ओह इसके बाद पता नहीं और कुछ पूछ लेगा, मैं स्टार्ट कर लेता हूँ जो मुझे मालूम है. ओके, G20, सर यस सर, G20 has happened sir. सर G20 एक्चुअली हैपेंड सर, इट हैपेंड इन दिल्ली सो मेनी कंप्लीट. अरे रुक जा, हम अभी तुमने पूछा, अभी तक आई हैव नॉट आस्क्ड यू द फुल क्वेश्चन. नहीं सर G20 हो गया था सर, बिकॉज ही इज इन अ वेरी एक्साइटेड स्टेट, यू नो. So what is happening is that the first casualty that comes is that you don't listen to the question properly. You don't listen to the question. And that is why we kept mental alertness. It's a very important part of it. How are you alert to the question that is being asked? And then you are how able to assimilate the thing. So the first thing that you say is that your ability to comprehend the question. And why it happens? Because you are nervous or your lack of self-confidence. कि शायद मुझे इसके बाद जो क्वेश्चन पूछा जाएगा मैं उसको जवाब नहीं दे पाऊंगा, समथिंग, इसको मैं बोल देता हूँ जो भी कुछ है. और many people are themselves nervous when they're sitting, पता नहीं कैसे क्वेश्चन आ जाएगा. How to deal with this nervousness, self-confidence, separate part of it. But when you look at the fact that this is a very natural process of a human being. Who is not nervous? If you make me sit down there also, I'll also be nervous. Because मुझे मालूम नहीं कि कौन सी तीर मुझे आके मारना लगेगा. Any questions can come. It's a world of this thing. Getting my point? So because of the fear of uncertainty, कि मुझे what questions shall you ask, I obviously will be nervous. If I'm not nervous, there is something wrong with me. But idea is to how to overcome that nervousness. And here lies the lack of self-confidence. Self-confidence gets enhanced बिकॉज व्हेन यू स्टार्ट बिलीविंग इन योरसेल्फ मैं उसका जवाब दे पाऊंगा, अगर उसमें मैं तैयारी किया हूं तो ऑटोमेटिक मेरा कॉन्फिडेंस आ जाएगा. अगर नहीं भी है, आई हैव सीन मेनी पीपल स्टार्ट बिकमिंग ओवर कॉन्फिडेंट. So the first part is that ability to comprehend the question. Okay. Early judgmental, I have already mentioned to you. You become very judgmental. अरे ये सवाल था मुझे ये पूछने वाला है. Or you create a judgment into yourself कि that possibly he is going to ask me this thing. 90% of the people, let me tell you, 90% of the people only listen half the question. This is a fact. And many times you go to, as we as interviewing officers have to keep maneuvering. No, we didn't mean this. Please come back. Please ask this. The moment it happens, the impression goes down and time goes away. So listen very calmly when a question is asked without blinking much of your eyes. Look at the eyes of the interviewing officer. What is it that you aim to? And look for what is the final thing he is asking me. Your answers should start from that final thing and not in between. And if you have not been able to comprehend the question, wait for a moment and say, sir, give me a little time. If still not able to comprehend, sir, can I have the question again? It's better to ask, sir, can I have the question again? Rather than starting something which you have not understood. So your mental alertness is very important, and you have a cognitive bias in response. This usually comes up, things, when they ask you questions regarding gender, sex, ideology, and so on and so forth. So you start repeating that. But this is what the interviewing officer is not aiming to. He's asking something else. He must be asking on policy, must be asking something. Or some coaching institutes actually give very, very wrong advice to the people, saying, यार ऐसा करना, तुम कोई क्वेश्चन का जवाब ऐसा मत बोलना कि मैं मुझे नहीं आता है, कुछ भी जवाब दे देना. This is what I have seen a lot of people, they keep doing it. Because तुमको मालूम नहीं कि next question अगर you not able to tell, थोड़ा बहुत है, बता देना. But there is a way which I will tell you कि अगर तुमको थोड़ा मालूम है तो कैसे बताना पड़ेगा. Okay. It is humanly impossible for you to know each and everything A to Z of all the questions. It's not possible. Nobody does it. किसके पास this human capability doesn't exist. But if you have a bias कि मेरी सोच विचार यही है, मैं यही बोलूँगा चाहे जो भी कुछ है, you may not agree with me, but let me tell you, it becomes argumentative many times with the candidates. Sometimes candidates just give up. होने दो यार, जो होगा, ये मेरा point है. Okay, so avoid that particular. The second most important is understand the essence of the question. What I was trying to tell you. You understand the word essence? मतलब उसकी fundal, what is the thing that you're asking me? And that you will all be able to pick up the essence of the question if you're mentally alert. अगर आप mentally alertness is something, don't misinterpret alertness. Alertness is not jumping. Alertness is not immediately reacting. Alertness is calmly listening and trying to react at an appropriate time. That's called alertness. The moment you immediately jump, that is overreaction. That's not alertness. Get my point? Security alert होनी चाहिए. हमारा घर में security guard alert होना चाहिए. ठीक है? इसका मतलब क्या है कि मैं जो देख रहा हूँ मेरे घर के घर में कोई गार्ड सार्ड कर कोई है, तो कोई आ रहा है, कोई जा रहा है, कोई नहीं जा रहा है, बंदा कौन है, क्या है, आई एम अलर्ट दैट आई एम सीइंग एवरीबडी. इफ एज अ सिक्योरिटी गार्ड आई एम स्लीपिंग, आई एम नॉट सीइंग एनीबडी, एम आई अलर्ट? द वर्ड अलर्ट कम्स फ्रॉम देयर ना, कि बंदा ये अलर्ट नहीं है. सो अलर्ट इज बेसिकली बीइंग एब्सोल्युटली कॉग्निजेंट ऑफ एवरीथिंग दैट इज बीइंग आस्क्ड टू यू. And then coming out to a conclusion, a mental framework in your mind, saying that yes, this is what is the essence of the particular question, and hence I need to answer that question. So this process of cognitiveness, trying to understand the question, trying to give out the appropriate answer by understanding the particular question, is the one basic quality that you look for. And why you look for is that whether you are in, IAS, whether in IPS, whether in anything for that matter, okay, the problem statement of anything has to be understood very well. In life, even if your daily life, social life, falana life, whatever you have, if you don't understand the problem statement, घरों में लड़ाई क्यों होती है? Many times, भाई भाई में लड़ाई हो जाती है, हस्बैंड वाइफ में लड़ाई होती है, इंक्लूडिंग चाइल्ड सिबलिंग्स, पेरेंटल उसमें लड़ाई होती है, बिकॉज sometimes the essence of the thing, थोड़ा लगा देना दोबारा, okay, the essence of the dispute is not understood. किसने कुछ बोला, किसने कुछ सुना, okay, आके लड़ाई हो गई है. फैमिली के अंदर देखा होगा ना, you start coming and saying, यार मैंने उसको मीन किया नहीं था, I didn't mean that यार, especially the close you are, okay, वहाँ पर फिर लड़ाई हो जाती है. Because the essence of the problem is many times not understood by people. Either they are on the surface or they're not able to understand the problem. जो लाइफ के अंदर प्रॉब्लम आता है ना, वही प्रॉब्लम आपके इंटरव्यू में भी होता है. या तो कभी कभी आप ऊपर से समझते हो या तो उसको थोड़ा समझते हो. अगर आप एसेंस ने आपने पकड़ लिया, मैं आपको बता रहा हूं 5 में से 5 पॉइंट से अगर 2 पॉइंट भी आपने बता दिया ना, यू आर मीडियोक्रेट. अदरवाइज द इंटरव्यू ऑफिसर कीप आस्किंग यू, नहीं बेटे आप मुझे बताओ, ये बताओ, नहीं अब ये बताओ मुझे, ये बताओ. एंड देन इफ यू स्टिल नॉट कमिंग टू द पॉइंट, ही विल गेट वेरी इरिटेटेड. अरे बंदा को कुछ मैं पूछ रहा हूँ, बोल ही नहीं पा रहा है. तो नतीजा क्या होगा? नंबर डाउन. बिकॉज यू आर देयर फॉर ए पर्पस कि मुझे नंबर लेना है. गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? इट इज ऑल बिजनेस ट्रांजेक्शन. एट द एंड ऑफ द डे देयर इज नो इमोशंस. भैया मैं जा रहा हूँ, मुझे 275 से मुझे नंबर लेना है, और कुछ नहीं है, और कुछ मतलब नहीं है. आप तैयारी करोगे नंबर मिलेगा, तैयारी नहीं करोगे then you got to blame yourself, right? Questions, questions will be direct, questions will be analytical, questions will be innovative, or maybe recommendatory nature. So don't jump into कि मुझे सिर्फ, if you are lucky if they ask you a direct question और उसका जवाब आपको मिल गया, tell me what is the height of Eiffel Tower, or what is a ABCD, कुछ historical question पूछ लिया. These questions will come immediately, like settling down questions. अच्छा, you come from UP, आप मुझे बताओ आपने भूल भुलैया गए हो क्या वहाँ पर? हाँ सर भूल भुलैया गया हूँ. किसने? who is the person who made भूल भुलैया for that matter? अगर आपको मालूम है ठक करके आपने बता दिया, ओके. बट अगर आप नहीं भी बोल पाए ना, दैट इज नॉट टेकन मच ऑफ कॉग्निजेंस. शुरू में जो क्वेश्चन पूछा जाता है, ओके, बिकॉज वी डू एक्सपेक्ट दैट आप इतने पढ़ाई कर रहे हो तो एक भूल भुलैया किसने नहीं बनाया था, अगर याद नहीं है तो यू कांट बिकम ए गुड IAS ऑफिसर. ऐसे नहीं है. वी डू कंसिडर दैट पर्टिकुलर थिंग. लॉट ऑफ पीपल थिंक यार मैंने वो बता नहीं पाया कुतुब मीनार का हाइट क्या है, मैं तो मर गया अभी. ठीक है, साइकोलॉजिकली आप अगर डाउन हो गए, दे आर नॉर्मल क्वेश्चंस. आप कहाँ से हो? मैं दिल्ली से आया हूँ सर. व्हाट इज हाउ आई स्टे सम टाइम इन कुतुब एनक्लेव. ओ अच्छा, वहाँ पर ठहरो. कुतुब मीनार है ना, वहाँ पर गए हो, कई बार गए होगे? हाँ सर मैं कई बार गया हूँ, वहाँ पर क्रिकेट खेलता था. अच्छा बेटा बताओ उसका हाइट क्या है? नाउ यू मस्ट बी नोइंग, बट एट द निक ऑफ द मोमेंट आपको याद नहीं आएगा. ओके, इट्स व्हाट 72 meters ना हाइट ऑफ कुतुब मीनार? खुद भूल गए हैं? Is around 72. Okay, then somebody will ask you, okay, why it is important. So I think Sanjana was trying to tell that initial part of the thing. You will ask this question. आप लेडी श्री राम से हो, who is लेडी श्री राम? आप फलाने से जगह से आए हो, लखनऊ से आए हो, what is लखनऊ फेमस फॉर? आप कुतुब एनक्लेव से आए हो. अगर आप कुतुब मीनार के बारे में थोड़ा बहुत 3-4 शब्द नहीं बता पाओगे तो मतलब क्या है? फिर बोलोगे यार तो खुद को नहीं मालूम है, रोज उठ के कुतुब मीनार देखता है, उसको ये नहीं मालूम उसका हाइट कितना है. व्हाई इट इज फेमस फॉर? व्हाई इज कुतुब मीनार फेमस फॉर? व्हाट इज द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ कुतुब मीनार? व्हाट्स ए मीनार? बट किसका बना हुआ है ये? या सैंडस्टोन का. इट इज द ओनली स्ट्रक्चर इन द होल वर्ल्ड व्हिच इज मेड ऑफ सैंडस्टोन गेटिंग टू सो मच हाइट. Others are metal and otherwise, like your Leaning Tower of Pisa. Okay? So they all are separate structures. Why some of the monuments are famous in various countries? Because of the peculiarity. Height है, structures हैं, longevity है, इतना साल हो गया, कब बना था कुतुब मीनार? हैं? ये जवाब काम नहीं होगा इस इंटरव्यू में. 13th century, 10th century, फलाना है, ठक करके आपको आना पड़ेगा. ठीक है ना? It's a pride of India as far as things are concerned. ताजमहल कब बना था? No, you got to prepare, update yourself. Okay, maybe you are not prepared for this. What I want to tell you is that if you are coming from Agra, if you don't know what Taj Mahal is, okay, if you are coming from Bangalore, okay, you don't know what Viswasarai is all about, you don't know something about history, okay, of Tipu Sultan, otherwise so and so, you are doomed to be failed. Let me tell you this. So yes, sir, it is very essential. Coming back to what we are discussing out here, there will be analytical questions. There will be innovative questions. पहले आपको दिमाग पता ना मुझे पूछ क्या रहा है यार. Does he want me to analyze? Does he want to be innovative? Does he want to give a recommendation? There's a government policy. Okay, अभी latest policy, let us take it. क्या हुआ आजकल? Any controversial thing that has happened recently? Electoral bonds. Okay. Yeah, let's take for example, electoral. Do you think electoral bonds are really going to prevent corruption as far as the political parties funding are concerned? Direct question. But you have to give it substance as far as things are concerned. Then the question recommendatory comes. If not, if you say this, tell us what are the other methods to ensure a clean funding as far as the party funding is concerned, so that you don't have corruption. So you will immediately get graduated from a direct to analytical to a recommendatory. This is a loop which follows. Direct, analytical and recommendatory. Recommendatory, innovative, we can combine. The DAR cycle, DAR cycle, usually follows in terms of question answers. अगर डायरेक्ट में फंस गए तो आप एनालिटिकल में जाओगे नहीं. Okay, the moment you say direct, then most likely you get into some sort of an analytical question. And if you give good analysis, then they will take you to recommendatory. Because there's a purpose. Say for instance, to direct answer, let's give an example. I have given you average marks. I want to take you to high average. I will ask you an analytical question. I want to take you to above average, say in the range of 170, 180 or 200 up and down. Then I'll ask you a recommendatory question. How is his mind working? Everything's okay. Because you are looking for minds which are comparatively better than others. So this graduation of question answers which takes place is actually our effort to take you up. नहीं तो हम तो सबको एवरेज देके छोड़ देंगे. You all come, we ask you general questions. Out of, we'll give you 130, 140 or 120, whatever it is. Go. But no. Why some people reach 200 plus and why some people go 100 less minus? People go back with 50, 60 also. सबने तो main pass किया है ना. Everybody is cleared mains. But why some people in the interview get as low as 60 and why some people get as high as 210, 20? We have taken people even to 240. Let me tell you this. In one of the interview board I was there. It is possible. But those are little exceptional that you put in. So the range is high, which I'll tell you later. Difficult questions, I already told you. Clarify. Or nahi hai, bypass. Sir, I am not aware of it. Can I have the next question, please? Don't worry कि अगर मैं next question में नहीं पाऊंगा तो मैं क्या करूंगा. Luck है ना, life में luck भी तो होता है ना कुछ. But don't try to something कि bypass a question or tell something. Okay, bypass. So this slide of mental alertness and assimilation is essentially how with clarity and thought process you're understanding the question. It has been framed with a purpose, Because we have found over a period of time that a large number of people do not understand the question properly. And the reason is, which as I told you, nervousness, hai, falana hai, self-confidence. There are reasons which is very natural. But natural हो गए तो छोड़ दें फिर उसको, कुछ ना करें. And these are something which can be developed over a period of time. Simple thing, if you make groups among yourself, let me tell you, यार आज क्वेश्चन आंसर करते हैं, you analyze yourself, या तू मुझे पूछना, just tell me something about the Israel-Hamas conflict that is taking place. Or simple thing, why has the Hamas attacked Israel? आपको मैं 5 बंदों को खड़ा कर लूँगा यहीं पर, 5 का आंसर अलग अलग होगा, because your perceptions are different. Okay, but there are certain people, without even not knowing the entire facts, they are able to quickly analyze a particular situation and give you such a beautiful chronological and logical answer. आप सुन के खुश हो जाओगे. There are people who have got n number of facts with them. They are so confused. आपको सुनते आप बोलेगे यार इसको कुछ नहीं मालूम है. So क्या क्वेश्चन पूछा जा रहा है as far things are concerned? Okay, is the most important. So your mental alertness is related to the nature of the question, the type of the question, and what is being asked for. And assimilation, how much are you going to assimilate that particular part of the question and then give back to the question to the interviewing officer. Okay, जो भी तुमको member पूछ रहा है, जो भी पूछ रहा है, ठीक है? For clarity understand, we'll call everybody as interviewing officers, whether it's a member or a chairman. Because the only tool that you have with us is through question answers. You might be asking, sir, और भी कुछ tool है क्या? Yes. In defense, we have a psychological test. We also have something called a ground test. बंदों को हम ground में डाल देते हैं. Or all these 3 people who assess these people, they are given these similar type of personality traits. कि तू इंटरव्यू करके ये देख, तू ग्राउंड में उसको देख, तू साइकोलॉजिकल टेस्ट में उसको कर. And then everything is combined. For some reason, if you have not done well in the interview, but you have done well in the other 2, you still can make it. But this luxury is not there in the civil services because of time and so on, so what was said and done. So the only tool is question answer. ओ भी भरवल, लिखित में तो है नहीं कुछ. लिखित में आपको देख लिया हमने ऑलरेडी रिटन टेस्ट में. सो एक ही टूल के अंदर आप क्वेश्चन नहीं समझ पाओगे तो सिचुएशन गड़बड़ है ना, है नहीं है? हाँ भाई पीछे वाला, डू एग्री विथ मी और नॉट? सिचुएशन गड़बड़ है नहीं. दिस लास्ट गर्ल, उसको माइक दे दो, इधर 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 दे दो. हाँ हाँ, विद द ब्लू, या सिचुएशन गड़बड़. अगर क्वेश्चन नहीं समझ पाओगे तो बताओ हाँ या नहीं?
Yes sir, absolutely.
है?
Yes sir, I agree.
पक्का?
Yes.
लॉक कर दिया जाए? हैं?
Yes sir. Yes.
Agreed?
Yes sir.
Okay, please sit down. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, whatever you want to call you, is that the first thing is, damn well bloody understand the question. If you don't, you're doomed. Okay. That's a drag. You put the roll on this thing? Achha, okay. Sorry. Okay. Okay. The next is, yeah. The next thing they have given out is, somebody read out this girl with the, yeah. जोर से बोलो so that we don't require a mic. वो माइक वाला आ गया तुम्हारा. He's got a good friend of yours, I find. हाँ.
The first is ability to connect dots.
No, heading पहले पढ़ो. हाँ.
Logical exposition and balance of judgment.
Logical exposition and balance of
Judgment.
judgment. Okay,
ability to connect dots,
okay,
sequential thinking and expression,
okay.
reasoning ability, power of conviction on original thoughts or recommendation, judgments, recommendations based on established principles of theory, law, practice, and the last is neither fully pro nor anti-government.
Now I come to the second part. आप जवाब कैसे दोगे? पहले क्वेश्चन बोले पूछ लिया ना, कैसे समझोगे? Okay, the second part comes now answering. Getting my point? So when you answer, we are looking key that तुम्हारा जो logical exposition is a combination of two things. Firstly, a logical thinking and an effective expression. अब तो जब तक आपका लॉजिकल थिंकिंग नहीं होगा, आपके लॉजिकल एक्सप्रेशन भी गड़बड़ हो जाएगा. आई टोल्ड यू दैट एग्जाम्पल, देयर आर लॉट ऑफ पीपल हु नो लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स, बहुत बड़े बड़े करते हैं, ठीक है ना, बड़े क्लास में फर्स्ट, उनको बोलो यार एक चीज़ बोलने के लिए आपको टोटल कन्फ्यूजन कर देंगे. देयर आर मेनी पीपल यू सीन इन योर स्कूल्स, कॉलेज एटसेट्रा, दे विल नॉट बी नॉर्मल थिंग, बट उसकी इतने अच्छी तरह से आपको समझा देंगे, एक बार बोलने से आप समझ जाओगे. होता नहीं होता है? यू मस्ट हैव सीन. So those people are good debaters, good dramatists, they're good conversationalists, and so and so. They need not necessarily be very brainy, but they can actually convey a point of view in a wonderful manner. So having said this, ability to connect dots. What do you understand by ability to connect dots? It's a very simple management question. Yeah, what? Yeah, आगे आपका. He's also a friend of yours.
If a certain set of data points is available, how we are able to find the interconnections between those data or facts, that will be ability to connect the dots and arrive at a particular conclusion from that data. That will be.
Can somebody link it up with a likely question that you may be asked, with something of current affairs or something? Link it up with something question affairs.
Okay, so let's just say there's a data of Delhi pollution. Someone says there's fires are burning in Punjab, Haryana. The crop residue that's burned, and on the other hand, there's atmospheric conditions, and these are two data sets. I'm just taking for a simple example. So we should be able to connect that the particular matter that comes from those parts comes to Delhi and it stays in the area. So then we should be able to derive, okay, that is why the pollution is caused, and then we may be able to arrive at a solution. Let's just say artificial rains that are being recommended, because other than that we don't really have a solution in particular months of November to December. That's it. That will be one of the ability to connect.
Okay, good effort. Anybody else who wants to give an example of sequencing? How to connect dots? Huh?
The question that you asked, that the Middle East Economic Corridor, will it be effective or not? So we have the different dots. For example, the finance is required. Then we have the international cooperation is required. Then the situation in the Middle East. So these are the different set of information and we need to connect it. For example, the finance is required. Does India have enough finance with the countries? Will be India able to connect or make a cooperation with the various regional countries? And third, what is the situation in the Middle East, like the Israel-Palestine? So how it will affect the situation?
Okay,
So
also good. Okay, I'll ask you, New Jersey, 1985. What's your name? Lakshman. You come from which place? You come from Delhi. Then please sit down. Somebody's come from outside Delhi? Huh. Okay. You outside Delhi? You come from which place? Jharkhand. Okay. Just take the mic. Now tell me, when you came initially to Delhi, how did you travel from Jharkhand to Delhi? My question is, and this is a very question we normally ask in the interview. Describe your journey from Jharkhand to Delhi.
Sir, I used the train medium to come to Delhi. My experience was experiencing the diversity of India through the plains. It was a very long journey in the northern plains of India, and I saw the contrast in the rural world and the urban worlds.
Okay. Has he connected the dots? Some comments from this side. His, yeah, Divya. Oh, give the mic to. Okay. What's her name? Ronak. Divya, please counter Ronak. Huh?
So I feel Ronak missed some basic point. They want to test his observation ability, the ability to understand the contrast between the two different places. It could be cultural or the food or the we see the many patterns change. The people we interact in the train. It shows a lot about experience contrast, not just what we observe, but a lot of things that include in it.
Okay. Please sit on both of you. Now, both of you thinking that I have given the right answer. But what exactly the interviewing officer is asking when you say ki describe your journey from so and so place? If I was asking this issue of experiences, if you're asking for observation, cultural diversity and so, you could have got pertinent direct questions to that. Because how will I assess you? Okay, my point here is, if I'm not asking a pertinent question, all that is essential is that when he says ki describe a journey, ki sir, first he said my journey was by train. Then they say, sir, I started from my place called Ranchi and so. Okay, I took so and so train out here. Okay, and it started so and so time. It reached Delhi and so time. From Delhi, I got down. I went to my hostel, which is so and so place. Okay, it took me so and so. A simple answer of describing a journey, that is connecting the dots. I started so and so time. I reached so and so time. I falan karke. Okay, 4-5 dots will explain your journey from Jharkhand to Delhi. A very simple question. It's a direct question. Describe your journey or travel. It is not innovative. It is not recommendatory. It is not descriptive. I'm not asking you anything. I'm just asking you a direct question. So direct question demands a direct answer. Now you both of you said this. Nothing wrong in your answers. This is not what the interviewing officer is asking you. Similarly, if a question of this nature came of the Middle East corridor per se, okay, the first question said the Middle East corridor was an approved agenda point during the G20 summit out here. The Middle East corridor is supposed to start from India, most probably some of the coast in India, then move on to the Middle East. In the Middle East, it will go to Saudi Arabia, it will cross so and so, then it will go to Italy, then go so. So let me describe the route. So you describe the route firstly. Third part is that to get it implemented, okay, the finance is being decided. Already a consortium has been established. Already had a Paris conference. We already had another conference where certain amount of money is going to be there, where the financial institutions are going to be brought in, and they are going to do the funding part of it. Right? The goods that is going to be transported out here are going to be A, B, C, D. This is going to be a win-win situation for both India and Europe, because India is looking for bigger markets in Europe, and Europe is also looking for a bigger market and so and so. This is gaining importance because of the Chinese trying to build up this thing. Now, say this point of Chinese, if you are very sure that you know about everything about BRI, आपने बोल दिया चाइनीज ने कर लिया, आपने BRI को नहीं मालूम. The next question is, oh, how do you think that it is going to get affected, or the Chinese BRI is going to affected by this? Sometimes if you are smart enough and you are prepared, you lead उनको बोलकर and you elicit that question from the interviewing officer, because आप उसने उसका तैयारी किया है. It's human psychology. The moment you uttered last में, उसको पहले बोल देता उसको पूछेगा नहीं. अगर लास्ट में अगर पूछोगे भाई BRI उसने बता दिया, oh good, very nice. Now tell me, how do you think it's going to affect the BRI? और अपने उसका 3-4 पॉइंट अपने पहले से तैयार करके रखा हुआ है, ठक 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 बुलेट पॉइंट, you made it. You get understanding the tricks of trade. It is always not straight answer. Sometimes you got to create situations to bring in this particular thing, and you should be lucky. अगर ये मुझे मिल गया, but आपने अगर डॉट कनेक्ट नहीं किया सीधा बोलकर, बंदा वैसे ही हो जाएगा, इसको कुछ मालूम नहीं है, CMSC. Who doesn't know CMSC that is going to have some, but start with simple, anything that you want. You know, हम लोग हिंदी मूवी देखते हो ना तुम लोग, हिंदी मूवी में क्या होता है, सबसे पहले बैकग्राउंड देता है, फिर बीच में आपको पीक में जाएगा, फाइनली खत्म होगा, फिर ग्रुप फोटोग्राफ होगा, देखा ना, दी एंड. दिस फॉलोज द साइकिल ऑफ अ स्टोरी. द मोमेंट यू टेल एनीथिंग इन द फॉर्म ऑफ अ स्टोरी, it tends to be better received. Human mind is like this. That is called connecting dots. Practice this. छोटे छोटे से practice करो. And best way to practice is that, you know, 4 of you, I mean a group, चलो picture चलते हैं यार, ठीक है ना? You go see a movie. Come describe that movie. Okay? By connecting the dots. आपने just देखा है ना, it's fresh in your mind. All of you on the same platform. सभी ने पिक्चर देखा है, एंड देन यू कंपेयर हाउ यू एबल टू कनेक्ट द डॉट्स. आई कैन गारंटी यू, कोई बंदा एंड से स्टार्ट करके आखिर में आएगा, कोई बीच में स्टार्ट करके आखिर में जाएगा, कोई हिस्से. ए गाय हु इज गॉट अ सीक्वेंशियल थिंकिंग, आई कम टू द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, सीक्वेंशियल थिंकिंग विल ऑलवेज गो एज पर दिस थिंग, एंड विल एक्सप्लेन दैट मूवी इन सच ए मैनर, आपको 2 मिनट में सुनकर खुश हो जाओगे, यार ये बंदा है. सो दिस थिंग्स आर वेरी को रिलेटेड. Connecting the dots and sequential thinking. And when questions are being asked, when you are answering, if you are following this particular pattern, because all of us sitting out there, okay, have got 30-40 years of experience in our own lives, we've seen life. So, हम यूं ही देखा को पता लग जाता है. So what appeals to us is something very brevity and meaning to the point. So that gives you marks. You can say anything. अगर आपको नंबर नहीं मिलेगा उसके ऊपर, तो बोलने का कोई मतलब नहीं है. आप वो बोले सर मैं तो सब कुछ बोल दिया, देयर इज नॉट अ सिंगल क्वेश्चन एंड नॉट आंसर्ड, पर नंबर क्यों नहीं मिला यार? यार मेरा कोई लिंक विंक है नहीं ना, ठीक है ना. उसकी इस फादर इज सो एंड सो, फलाने सो एंड सो. हम क्या करते हैं फिर, अपने आप को फिर सेल्फ एक्सक्यूज देना शुरू करते हैं, यार माई डैड इज नॉट देयर, फलाना. यार नहीं यार, मैं आई एम नॉट स्टडी फ्रॉम अ कन्वेंट स्कूल ना, मेरे अंग्रेजी उसको पसंद नहीं है. आजकल जो सारे बैठे हैं ना, सारे पब्लिक स्कूल वाले हैं, कहानी बताते रहो, सेल्फ एक्सक्यूज करते रहो, बट नंबर आपको नहीं मिलेगा इफ यू डोंट फॉलो दिस 2 points. So when I say third is reasoning ability, this is all part of your answer, that your reasoning ability. Now जैसे उन्होंने पूछा, मैं उसको खड़ा हो जाऊंगा, अच्छा बोलेगे व्हाट वाज द नीड ऑफ हैविंग अ CMSC. ये तो मोदी का बड़ी पर्सनल फैट वो चले जा रहा है मेरे ख्याल से. कोई जरूरत है CMSC करने के लिए? लिंक अप विद BRI. ऑलरेडी BRI कनेक्टेड टू मोर देन 180 कंट्रीज. क्या जरूरत है और एक बनाने के लिए? डोंट यू थिंक इट्स अ क्लास ऑफ पर्सनैलिटी, क्लास बिटवीन जीपिंग एंड दिस थिंग मोदी? सर आप यू आर राइट सर. आई थिंक सर इफ ऑलरेडी लिंक टू 180 कंट्री, हम क्या जरूरत है, उसके साथ ही कर देना था ना. सो व्हेन आई से दिस, बिकॉज G20 has approved it, and all, even China is also part of it. So there is something which is more than what we gain the G20 other than the BRI. So if you say yes, logical उसको देना चाहिए. If you say no, फिर भी आपको logic देना चाहिए. Reasoning ability. Why no? Let us take that you negate it. नहीं सर हमको मिडिल कॉरिडोर जरूरत नहीं. Okay, can somebody give quickly some reasoning कि हमें जरूरत नहीं है कर. उससे पहले तो आपने कभी बात नहीं किया था, इतना साल हो गया. क्या हमारे दिमाग में we didn't have any innovative ideas or something? Why is that suddenly it has happened? And why it is beneficial? Give me. I'm not taking by your knowledge. I'm just trying to give an example how to answer this question. Whatever the दिमाग में आ जाता है. Can anybody try this? Why did we take a new initiative called the Middle East Corridor? Yeah.
So basically, in the contemporary times, United States is losing its relevance in the Middle East. So, and China is trying to gaining ground over there. But and at the same time, United States wants to keep China at bay, but it can't do it all alone. So it is taking it is taking help of countries like India and few other countries in the Middle East and few other countries in the Middle East in order to keep China at bay, because now Saudi-Iran deal has been negotiated by China, the peace deal. So in order to keep China at bay in the region, United States and also like-minded countries like India, we wanted to ensure that our foothold in the region is not lost.
Okay. So I'll ask you a question. So essentially you feel it is geopolitics and not economics. Yes or no?
Sir, it is actually a combination of geopolitics and economics, because when you build a corridor like Middle Eastern Economic Corridor, it benefits we will get points in geopolitics, and we'll also be able to enhance our both the economies.
Good. Anybody against it? He's given a 4 point. Anybody against? Yeah, Divya.
To become Vishwa Guru and also have multiple benefits, such as India's economy recently come $4 trillion.
No, I want you to negate this point.
I want to just counter his point.
Counter,
that,
okay.
Yes, that
United
States is driving India's or using India as a puppet. I believe that India has a very strong opinion about it and believes in multipolarity. So that is the underlying note I consider behind this Middle East corridor, and it want to take advantage of having growing population and create the employment opportunity, and also address the issues of the people abroad, especially NRI, and using them as an asset for the India, as the India's power structure would increase. So India want to highlight multiple benefits along with it, be it rising as a global power or having more economical benefit along with it, and as well as to maintain that India has own identity against China and not mere puppet of the United States of America.
Okay. Anybody else want to say something on this issue?
Sir, since you said to negate, तो मैं negate करने के लिए बोल रहा हूँ कि जो Middle East हैं, they are over.
Come to the point. Just point, huh?
Middle East nations are overly dependent on oil, so like it will lead to like our economy.
You want to say something? Oh,
our economy will become more prone to external shocks. So this will be the downside of it.
Okay. If you want to connect the dots, just give an example. Nothing withstanding to whatever you have said. So, what does this stands for? IMEEC. Middle East, what corridor? Say again. Economic. So the catchword is economic. So don't dispute much whether it is economic, non-economic, geopolitics, that, this, kiska interest hai, US ka interest hai, falana interest hai. No. You are connecting dots ki that ye India Middle East economic corridor hai. If it is economic, how does this particular link help India's economy or the Middle East economy or the European economy per se? When we want to connect the dots, why it is essential is because so far this thing would have been, we are having through the land route. Now land route is getting a problem because there is a problem in Afghanistan, there is a problem in Pakistan, there is a problem in Iran, there is a problem in so on and so forth. We have been trying to have the north-south corridor in Iran from Chabahar port to the Caucasian countries. We have not been able to succeed. Okay, we have been trying so much. So let us try that. Now why it is required? Because now as India's economy is growing, unless we start selling it to some other countries, our trade today is just about less than 2% of the world trade. We need to enhance it to 5%, 6% in coming time. And whom do you give it to? Middle East has got money, Europe has got also money. Also Europe is looking to sell this thing because their economy is not doing well. We are a highly consuming country like India with 1.4 billion consumers, and they will also look for people to whom to sell. They will sell it in Middle East, they will sell it in India, from India it comes, it will go to Bangladesh, it will go to Pakistan and so on and so forth, whatever it is. So it's a win-win economic situation for these two blocks from where India se start ho raha hai aur Europe tak ja raha hai. So these two people are getting benefited. If these two people are not getting benefited, करने की कोई मतलब नहीं है. पर पहले क्यों नहीं होता था? Because there was to be huge amount of problem. So we are not having good relations with Saudi Arabia, right? Israel also was an issue. So many things. To crossing Middle East is one of the most difficult part of things are concerned. Okay. I was India's defense advisor in Middle East for 4 years. So the dynamics are, why we can't push through Middle East. And it took huge amount of support. If US and President Biden was not with India's point of view, this wouldn't have succeeded. The geopolitics part of it is that why Biden accepted on this particular issue is that he had actually wants India on our side and not go with some other thing. The issues you don't confuse in an interview board. Because the moment you say more than required, आपको question extra मिल जाएगा. So here the catchword is economic. So when you are trying to answer the dots of economic corridor, so you are just analyzing thing and then going and thinking sequentially as to and your reasoning ability why you're giving the reasons. So in those 3-4 reasons that I gave about economic corridor, don't you think that you covered the first 3 and also to some extent the power of conviction also? Because interview board mein, you will always be confronted with certain situations where you are totally not very sure because you are too young. You have not experienced life. You are not. What you are is basically theory. आपने जमीन पर देखा नहीं अभी तक. When you come to mid level of my stage, there's a different stage. So you have to. You are always thinking मैं बोलूं, गड़बड़ हो जाएगा. गलत बोल दूं, नंबर नहीं मिलेगा. इससे अच्छा थोड़ा चुप रहो. And that's exactly what happened why India lost in the finals. Too cautious. Too cautious कि नहीं आराम से खेलेंगे धीरे धीरे 4 छक्का की जरूरत नहीं है 2-3 मारेंगे एक करेंगे 300 तक ले जाएंगे. And that disaster took place because of this. So when you answer questions, you catch the thing. अच्छा इसने पूछा कि इंडिया इकोनॉमिक सोच तो कैच क्या है इकोनॉमिक है ना. Your answer should immediately gravitate on the economic part of it and then link it to India, Middle East, Europe corridor. So you are connecting the dot into that. But if you keep connecting dots which are outside, not the internal dots which is connecting those things, वो भी dot connect हो जाएगा, but you are not getting the rhythm in answer. So you don't get into a power of conviction and so on so करके. So this again comes by practice and experience. For me it's experience, for you comes by practice. Now the question came, you want to say something?
In answering such questions, we should focus on specifically the Indian point of view or the global point of view.
There is no standard answer to this thing. It depends upon the question. Now this has to be taken global because it is relating to at international level. India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor. So obviously the entire half the world is involved into this. So here it has to start from an international level. What gains not only India but all the countries which are involved into it. Now what will the Middle East gain in this? Transit fees, transportation, this, that, security, bloody ship berthing, so on so करके खूब पैसा उनको मिल जाएगा. ठीक है? पीस होगा नहीं होगा वो तो बात अलग है बट कम से कम पैसा तो उनको मिल जाएगा. ठीक है ना? समझ रहा है? This what I am telling is that because everybody looks for his own profit and own gains. If I am in Saudi Arabia, I have got money, doesn't matter. Yes, to some extent, I will give that part of this thing. But then, अगर मेरे बीच में corridor जा रहा है, corridor मतलब all the containers will be unloaded in one of the ports. It will go by road across. Now, बीच में, if I was Iranian, I want to this thing, I'll tell bit Yehudis, okay, rebels, उसको उड़ा देना उसको बीच में से. खत्म ना? So Saudi Arabia will say कि I will provide security, right? But I will charge you per container this much. वो भी अपना पैसे बनाएगा. कोई मुफ्त में इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड सॉल्यूशन में nothing goes free. Let me tell you, nothing goes free. I was negotiating, I'll give my personal example on the Indo-Iran gas pipeline. So it was almost getting through because there are too many private players getting involved into it. I was the one fellow who actually opposed it. So the reason was that it was just not at all working economic benefits to us. And nobody had taken into consideration the security money that the Pakis are going to try impose on us for ensuring the transit. And rightfully, when we asked, at that time, I remember in early part of 2000, they were charging $5 to $7 per cubic meter of gas that is being transported. So when you calculate on a cumulative basis, the damn thing was becoming so expensive. चलो कोई बात नहीं, उसको दे देंगे, because after all अगर सी से लेंगे तो खर्चा तो होगा. So we asked the Pakistan, why are you charging so much? He says, listen, we don't have force to do this. We'll have to raise 8 to 10 battalions, having about 15,000 people, to be placed all along this thing so and so. एक उनका 10-15 हज़ार की नौकरी क्रिएट हो जाएगी. हम वो so they were trying to sort out their employment issues and other issues so through our money. Then I say, guarantee क्या है? Tomorrow the same militants which are in Balochistan, they will come and blow it up. What is the guarantee? Supposing they blow up, are you going to compensate us? No, वो हम आपको देंगे नहीं. We will not give you that compensation. Because can you really ensure that nothing happens in your country? इतने बड़ी लंबी लाइन है, 600 किलोमीटर की लाइन है, हाउ कैन यू एंश्योर कि कहीं नहीं होगा? फिर हम इतने पैसे क्यों ले रहे? It took me a lot of power of conviction to then visiting foreign minister Natwar Singh to tell him कि sir, this is my point of view as a defense advisor. अब सुनना तो सुन लो, नहीं तो नहीं. I'm not a decision maker. Just a colonel those days. I'm not a decision those. Thank God some justice thought process, re-thought took place in the government of India, and we didn't go ahead with it. When I look back, actually speaking, that was one of my finest points of, diplomacy that I have experienced. That damn thing didn't come through. Otherwise, we would have been paying through our nose. Because at that time, we were actually short of gas, quite a lot. उसके बाद तो we found gas in Rajasthan, we gas found in so and so place and so and so. फिर कतार के साथ we went into a deal. We bought LNGs, big vessels, and we got it from Qatar. So we found alternatives to it. But that decision of trying to, because the Hindus in London were trying to push this damn big thing. So the dynamics of this thing, so I'm trying to give you that particular example of this issue of connectivity is that obviously if somebody asked me, I will tell because I had experience. But you don't have experience. But you have something very strong with you. आपके पास you were reading. So this reading has to be expanded. Now to get that power of conviction, you require strong reading. Not only one paper. Read a couple of papers. Read some foreign newspapers. They're all basically available online. Read Times, read Economists. They'll give you various views on this particular issue. Even on a simple thing like G20, the Economist was very, very critical. You know Economist magazine? Published from London? Okay. Very critical. And there's an article immediately after that which is totally against this military, what you call this corridor. You read the economics. Totally against. Well, काम नहीं होगा. They say कि this is not going to work out. So there are forces in this world who do not want this to happen. You can add geopolitics to everything. People are against India, India is super rising, Modi के against में फलाना, this sort of thing तो ये हर सवाल में फिट हो जाता है. No, ये सवाल इसका जब ऐसे वाला जो जवाब जो है ना आपको नंबर नहीं देगा, नंबर देगा जो कि इफ गेट इनटू स्पेसिफिक्स. So this specificity will come if you have a sequential thinking, if you have a reasoning ability and so on. So finally, the point here is neither fully pro nor anti-government. A lot of people ask me the question, sir, if I ask this question, should I ask as per the government or should I go against the government? There is nothing for and nothing against. Policies in government, any government for that matter, whether our government or any other country's government, are brought out with a lot of deliberations. It just doesn't come out in the whims or fancies of a political leader. It goes to series of discussions. And the same disadvantage of this thing, what we think now, we think at our level, also are debated at the highest level. So when such things are coming, which are very controversial, maybe the farm laws ho gaya, the falana laws ho gaya, okay, it might be disadvantage to certain people. Look out those positive things of every policies. By talking positive things of any policy, even if it is a policy is something which is veering on the fear of ideology and religion and caste and this thing, right? You only check out what are positivities. So you say, I am not pro or government, sir. I am purely analyzing this as a policy. That's what things say. I feel this policy has got this advantage, however, it has also got this much disadvantage. This could have been enunciated by any government. So it's BJP or Congress. I am not worried about government. I am worried about the government has made a policy. Iska fayda ye hai, iska nuksan ye hai. You made yourself very clear. Am I being understood or not, अभी तक, so far? है? Sure. बोलोगे सर आज लंच के बाद बिठाकर सिर्फ अंग्रेजी मार रहे हैं. So far clear? Can I go to the next slide? पक्का? तो जोर से बोलो. Okay. Yeah, somebody's got a question there. Yeah.
Sir, my question is that can we outrightly reject any policy of the government in the interview?
Did I say this?
No, sir, I have this doubt. If there is a policy and it has got lot of limitations, so can we outrightly...
So that is the reason I said, na, when a policy comes out, it undergoes a huge amount of process. Maybe if you are outrightly rejecting it, you are not been made aware about the larger complexities of that particular of the policy formulation. So whenever policy made, it's worthwhile reading the background how policy has been formulated. And yet, if you feel so confident that it should be negated, do it by all means, but with power of conviction.
Okay, sir.
It will not go against you, let me tell you this. Okay, we do appreciate this. Sometimes it's also beyond us when you're thinking, oh my God, this candidate is giving a wonderful point. Getting my point? But that's a very risky affair, because if it is 1-to-1, ठीक है, एक बंदा मान लिया, 4-5 बंदे तुम्हारे अगर पीछे पड़ जाएंगे, ठीक है ना, तो थोड़ा मुश्किल होगा, because you never know, somebody is a bureaucrat, may have been part of their policy making, he start taking it against him. अरे मैंने बनाया था, मुझे against बोल रहा है ये, तो क्या करना है, हमको नंबर लेना है ना. At the end of the day, no love loss, is a business transaction. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, after that जब तुम बन जाओगे कलेक्टर तो बात अलग है, ठीक है ना, कुछ करो. But your aim is to get marks, and that's all. Be very clear on these issues, because here we are not trying to make you research scholars. We are not trying to test your knowledge. We are trying to see कि भाई personality तेरे पास है ही नहीं है. Getting my point? Purely professional. क्यों बेटे? Yes or no? Feeling sleepy?
Thank you, sir.
I have some sort of this thing in my class. Nobody sleeps. There's one thing, right? Yes, I'm happy that nobody is. Otherwise, हम सोते थे जब हम क्लास में थे. Okay. This is the next quality that you're looking for. Depth of interest, social cohesion, and leadership. By and large, we have covered most of the point during our conversation. Now, power of comprehension of subjects of contemporary issues and optional. Now I'm coming down to focus. People keep asking, sir, कितने पढ़ेंगे हम? मर देंगे सर. एक तो 9 पेपर आपने दे दिया वहाँ पर written test में. अब ये पता कोई सर पूरा ही पढ़ाई करो. No, you have to basically concentrate on certain contemporary issues. And contemporary issues, firstly you decide, a group of people decide, your faculty will decide out here which are the contemporary issues. Okay, so you decide on the contemporary issues. The second point, what we start looking for in candidates is that how comfortable you are to navigate into unfamiliar terrains. Can somebody explain this point? What is unfamiliar terrains? Second point. Can somebody explain this? Yeah.
So something about which you are not aware, or you have not encountered before, or you do not have like thoughts on the same before the question has been thrown at you.
Yeah, we're right. Why don't you all raise hands? उसमें अंग्रेजी क्या मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा. Unfamiliar terrain मतलब उस पहाड़ी का जो है जहाँ पर कभी गए नहीं है, उस जगह पर कोई गए नहीं है. You have read so many things. I will ask you, okay, say for instance, question comes on, let's take the same thing like a G20. Let us. I'm trying to link up because this is very recent. It is in the memory for that matter. Okay, आपको पूछा G20 हुआ क्या कर के, right? Now they'll tell you that. Tell me, why was Pakistan not invited for the G20? सबको बुलाया ना, बांग्लादेश को बुलाया, सब कुछ बुलाया. Or for that matter, okay, why is it that it is only confined to G20? Why can't we make it G30, G31, and so on? Something related but not totally unfamiliar. If I take you to more unfamiliar grounds of, let's say, what do you call that? Middle East Economic Corridor, you are answering, I want to upgrade you. Okay, you have done बड़ा अच्छा question, answer किया, सब कुछ किया. I put you in a particular this thing. I want to take you further. Everything is a concern. Okay. Now tell me, what has been the trade policy of European Union for the last 2 years? If the trade policy was not favorable, they will not link up with us, no? Okay, what has been the trade policies? I'll ask you, what are the European Union dynamics before they went into this agreement for these corridors? I'll ask you dynamics, what is it that brought a rapprochement between Saudi Arabia and Iran? You may be knowing something, but it's a total, unless you're reading geopolitics of Middle East. Okay, because when you are preparing, you are concentrating on India's neighborhood and so on so करके. यार वो Middle East के अंदर क्या हो रहा है? Or if I ask you, tell me what is the relations between Egypt and bloody Sudan? आपको थोड़ी याद आएगा Egypt Sudan के अंदर क्या होता है करके. So sometimes we just want to seek your knowledge level कितने encompass है. We put you into unfamiliar terrain, just to see if we can elevate you to a little higher. This. So don't get worried on unfamiliar terrain, etc. If you know, you say, sir, I'll try. Or if you don't know, I say, I don't know. But transgressing into unfamiliar terrain is an indicator that you're doing well in the interview. Don't get disappointed the moment you ask questions which are a little difficult in nature. That means you are going well, sailing well. Because while you are in the process of interview, you always come into some sort of a this thing कि यार एक तो कब खत्म होगा, ठीक है ना? I've seen many people 3-4 ग्लास पानी भी पी लेंगे. Everything is a concern. Okay. और जब इंटरव्यू थोड़ा मतलब गेट एक्सटेंडेड, कई लोग तो रो भी पड़ते, सर अभी तक खत्म नहीं हुआ क्या, कब खत्म होगा ये? Because they just want to finish it off. So what I want to tell you is this, that taking you into unfamiliar terrain, getting you into exposed to difficult questions, actually we're trying to assess you in a little higher platform than what you are. Otherwise, people who can't, हम 20 मिनट 22 मिनट उनको निकाल देते हैं.
in Egypt and Sudan situations, if I don't remember the dam that Sudan is making, so can I just say there's a dam that Sudan is making and that is blocking the way and that's causing the problems?
Yes. You
Skipping
see, the best way to handle this thing is, sir, I do not have full data on this. Okay. Can I just touch upon its geopolitical and economic implications on these issues? Okay. This is what it is like. I have read that there is a big dam which is being constructed and so on. So because of that, okay, so and so a large area is going to be irrigated. Both Sudan and Egypt are going to be benefited by that. And if you know certain data, like sir, Egypt is, it's 90% deserts and 10% only land. Us 10% land mein 8% is covered by the Nile River. So the entire economy comes through this. So if they get into this thing, so Egypt is also going to get benefited. And in Sudan, sir, there is a insurgency goes on, and the Darfur has always been a chaotic place. If something happens, then economic thing goes up, then there will be certain amount of this thing. So you not use data, but you use geopolitical knowledge to answer that particular question. But आपने कुछ पढ़ा नहीं होगा डैम के बारे में, आपको याद नहीं होगा, फिर ट्राई मत करना, फिर डैम में फंस जाओगे फिर, ठीक है ना? If you read something, but here the intelligence comes, your cognitive capability comes. How exactly you are able to link at that point of time, right? Yes, you know something about Egypt, you know something about Sudan, there's a dam coming up, there's a falana going up, there's the geography that you know. So through your cognitive capability, you are able to link it and give a suitable answer to it. That will take you up. You understood this question? Knowledge of service options as a social adaptability views on gender, caste, specially challenged person. Somebody raised this question, this issue. Who raised this question? You. Okay. You will always come across this question because as administrators, you will come across plethora of social challenges. Firstly, harassment to girls, harassment to women at workplaces, and so on. So, reservations of people, and gender, disability, transgenders. Because when you are going into a society where you are going to be part of a system where you are administrating, it is a combination of all the people, good, bad, socially challenged, and so on. So, you are not only administrating good people. You will be confronted with people who are poor, you will be confronted with people who are introverts, you will be confronted with people who are corrupt. You will be confronted with people of politicians' nature who will come and shout on you. He said, I'm a people's representative. Who are you? Ek exam pass karke aa gaye yahan par baith gaye kar. They'll humiliate you, let me tell you this. So how exactly are you going to handle these challenges? So, and that thing, you have to be socially adaptable. The earlier you understand, develop this thing of social ed. So this comes through your families, through your schooling, through your friend circles, and so on. So, as I given an example in the beginning, some people don't want to mix around with people. Some people want to remain to themselves. Yaar, main aisa hu. Shahrukh Khan type, Yaar, main aisa hu. No, because you are preparing for a new role in life. And that role entails for you to be comfortable with public, interact more with society and social relationship. We are asking you questions on those lines. Otherwise, if you are coming for a academic interview profile, ये थोड़ी पूछेंगे आपको. आपको तो पूछेंगे ये ऑथर क्या है, वो रिसर्च क्या है, वो पेपर क्या है, फलाना क्या है. So, in my commission, in our state, we are the only state who took the entire selection of the university academic portfolio under the commission, Public Service Commission. I was the first guy who was told to do this. It was a hell of a bloody thing. वो academicians को ऊपर पूछ I was not actually trained so much, though I have done my PhD, but then there's a different issue. But the fact is that उनकी जो question answers of academicians are so different than what I have encountered elsewhere. And many times I used to remain in the backdrop only because वो कोई physics वाला आ जाएगा तो उसको तो दिमाग खराब कर देगा, बोलता बोर्ड में जाओ और उसको वो equation करो, उसको फलाना करो. Now that is an academic requirement because they want to know whether a fellow has got good in basics or not. We are not looking at तुमको थोड़ी खड़ा करके बोलेंगे भाई तुम बोर्ड में वो theory बनाओ, if you're a physics student, so on so करके. No, we are looking for administrators. And over a society as diverse as India. So this is where we start looking for knowledge of service options and competence to handle challenges peculiar to each service. What do you want to join? Sir, I want to join IPS, I want to join IRS, I want to join IIS, I want to join IFS, ABCD करके. What is that service? Next question is, tell me if I join to foreign service, okay, what is it that the role of a basic diplomat is all about? What is the necessity for us to have diplomats? Why can't we today in the age of the digital world, why do you have to keep paying so much money and maintaining embassies across all the countries for that matter? What is it that a diplomat makes a difference? What is the role that you feel yourself that as a diplomat that you're going to go? You are joining police service. Why is a law and order become an important issue of a society? Why is it so important that we still have to go by issues of penal code and criminal procedure code which are as old as only 200 years? And n number of questions. So every service has got its own dynamics. So if you are opting for IAS, you should know exactly what is the role of an IAS officer. Here I am not flashing that. We have those particular role of the civil servants per se. But you should know exactly what is the role of an IAS officer. It's just not, administration and development and so and so. ये नहीं कि थोड़ा बंगलों में रहना है और लाल बत्ती लेके घूमना है. IAS officer. A lot of people give such stupid answers. I'm calling stupid because they said इसमें power है. I said, define power. What is the damn bloody power that you have got? नहीं सर, घर में बंगला है सर, 8-10 लोग काम करेंगे सर, ठीक है सर, जाएंगे लोग सैल्यूट मारेंगे सर. Can you imagine this answers in the interview board? You will laugh if I tell you, but actually they're the answers. Because what happens if a person doesn't know, he's in a state of nervousness. He's not prepared for it. कुछ तो बोलेगा ना, because he thinks यार मैं IAS के लिए opt किया हूँ. अगर मैं ये नहीं बोल पाऊँ कि मैं IAS किस लिए ज्वाइन कर रहा हूँ, मेरा तो पूरा नंबर कट गया ना. But the fact that he is not prepared, उसकी अगर 8-10 जॉब प्रोफाइल में से 5 पॉइंट का रट्टे मार लेते दिमाग में, 3 तो याद आ जाएगा. क्यों नहीं जर्सी? बात सही है नहीं है? I'm calling you New Jersey, don't mind. Okay, because wearing a lovely t-shirt. But वो हम करते नहीं हैं. सर हम IAS बनना चाहते हैं, हम IFS बनेंगे, फलाना करेंगे. What is the damn bloody role involved? What are the implications? Always ask yourself a question, so what? If I join IPS, so what? मैं क्या करूँगा इसके ऊपर? कुछ नहीं. रोल ऑफ एन IPS ऑफिसर सब गूगल में मारो, मैं बता रहा हूँ. रोल ऑफ एन ऑफिसर से गूगल में मारो. You will get so many job profiles of these things. But simple thing हम करते नहीं है. Okay, crisis management, one big thing that we keep asking you. If there's a disaster, if there's an epidemic, if a law and order situation takes place, right? If health crisis takes place, like the COVID has taken place, some tunnel has broken now in Uttarakhand, what will you do? Okay, if a floods come up, what will happen like this? There are n number of questions which deal for crisis management as far as administrative is concerned. Now, if those questions are not pre-thought about, and what could the likely answers, you have not given a thought to it, at time of response and replying in interview board, आप जवाब तो दे ही दोगे, मगर आप डॉट कनेक्ट नहीं कर पाओगे, आप सीक्वेंशियल उसको जवाब नहीं दे पाओगे, ठीक है, और you will miss out lot of masala in that. Because there are certain general question, आप कुछ ना कुछ जवाब तो दे ही दोगे. नहीं कि बोलोगे सर मुझे मालूम नहीं है. सर तुम्हारे सर फ्लड हो गया तो अब क्या करोगे? You will be able to tell 2-3 points. ऐसे नहीं कि तुम बोल नहीं पाओगे. But are those points connecting the dots? Are they in a sequential process? Are they meeting the requirement? If you have not done that analysis in advance, sitting amongst you, sitting amongst so and so, you are quite likely not to reach the desired level of competence to answer that particular question. नतीजा क्या है? लो मार्क्स नहीं, फिर भी पास हो जाओगे, ऐसे नहीं अगर आपने रिटर्न अच्छा किया है, आप लकी किया है तो फिर भी निकल जाओगे, बट आपको इंटरव्यू में, but here idea is not, you are not trying to balance it between your written test and so, here you want to get more marks as much as possible in your interview. Okay, now this is something very difficult, but let me just tell you, integrity, positive mindset and innovativeness, इसके लिए थोड़ा हमारे पास 5-7 मिनट रहता है, 10 मिनट रहता है, मैक्सिमम 5-7 मिनट पूछने के लिए, but you ask you a certain pertinent question. Now you understand integrity. Integrity always doesn't mean financial integrity. You must understand this. Integrity, the basic thing you must understand is how true you are to yourself. ये definition आप अभी से रखो, आप जिस पोजीशन में हो, जहां पर भी हो, this will always stand in good state. How true are you to yourself? I'm a public servant, I take money, I take bribes, but मैं फैमिली को नहीं बोलूँगा यार मैं पैसे ले रहा हूँ, दोस्तों को नहीं बोलूँगा पैसे ले रहा हूँ, मैं तो बहुत बहुत ईमानदार हूँ, ये नहीं काम चलेगा. You are not integrity because you are not true to yourself. मैंने डिसाइड किया कि सुबह रोज उठकर 6 बजे उठकर पढ़ाई करूँगा, आई विल कंसंट्रेट फॉर 6 to 8, 6 to or 9 वॉट एवर इट इज़. ओके, आज मैंने रेजोल्यूशन किया, तीसरे दिन मैंने तोड़ दिया उसको, यार पिक्चर जाना था ना, लेट हो गया ना, यार मच्छर था ना, सोए नहीं पाए यार, फलाना करके. ठीक है, कुछ ना कुछ रीज़न दे दो अपना. अगेन ए लैक ऑफ इंटीग्रिटी बिकॉज you are not true to yourself. This character of integrity is so important, not in a letter character, but to now clear the examination. अगर आपने कुछ डिसाइड किया तो मैं करूंगा तो करूंगा. Unless something distinct takes place, there is a flexibility in changing course. Okay, so the issue of, we ask you through, this is a humanistic dimension of a personality. I told you 2 dimensions of personality. एक पहला क्या था, जोर से बोलो. दूसरा, तुम क्या हो, तुम्हारा सेल्फ क्या है, तुम्हारा ईगो क्या है, फलाना क्या है, वो हम जो है थ्रू क्वेश्चन आंसर वी ट्राई टू फाइंड आउट. वी रिक्वायर पीपल विद एस्टीम, वी रिक्वायर सर्टेन विद पीपल विद ईगो एंड ऑल. ऐसे नहीं कि बिना ईगो, ईगो इज गॉट पॉजिटिव नेगेटिव एस्पेक्ट्स आल्सो, राइट. Ability to see good, I'm just giving you not ability to see good in every situation, policy, human beings and criticality. Question you asked on policy, see good in that policy because lot of effort goes into policy. See good in situations. Okay, अगर उसको शुरू से नेगेटिव लिखोगे, यार फार्म लॉ बेकार था, और यू स्टार्ट की कल वो इंडिया वाले बड़ी दे लॉस्ट ए मैच, जरूर पैसे लिए होंगे यार, यार पिच खराब था, फलाना था, यार अगर मोदी नहीं होता ना कल वो जीत जाते. बड़ा टेंशन में आ गए वो लोग, यार तो मोदी क्यों है पता नहीं है. There are a lot of analysis taking place nowadays, and one of this you'll be amazed. One of guys, यार प्राइम मिनिस्टर नहीं आना था, सारे वो अटेंशन उधर डाइवर्ट हो गए, यार मोदी ने किया, मोदी थोड़ी खेला था. So see positivity, see this thing in every aspect. Creating multiple options to emergence and criticality. This happens when you read a lot, when you debate a lot. Okay, say you asking you something, what happens in a disaster. Now something is happening in Uttarakhand out there. Now you tell me exactly why we are not able to rescue. Can somebody tell me? Why we are not able to rescue those 42 people who are stranded in Uttarakhand tunnel? रोज पेपर निकलता तो वही निकलता है. Why we are not able to rescue them? Anybody for Uttarakhand? अभी हाथ नहीं खड़ा करना मुझे, नहीं तो जवाब देना पड़ेगा. Yeah, make a try. Somebody make a try. Yeah. हाँ.
और टनल बोरिंग मशीन इफेक्टिव तब होती है जब 400 मीटर हाइट तक मतलब ऊपर प्रेशर होता है, लेकिन माउंटेन तो ये ज़्यादा हाइट मतलब 3000 मीटर और अबव हाइट के, तो टनल बोरिंग मशीन इफेक्टिवली उस एरिया में काम नहीं कर सकता. तो ये एक साइंटिफिक मतलब टेक्निकल रीजन है. बाद में जो दूसरा ब्लास्ट मेथड पे जो काम करते हैं ज़्यादातर इन बड़े माउंटेन रीजन में, तो हम लाइव सेव करनी है तो हम वो भी मेथड अडॉप्ट नहीं कर सकते। नहीं तो टनल तो हम बना सकते हैं लेकिन
Good.
लाइव नहीं
He's
save
raised two valid points, and both the points are valid. Absolutely valid. ये दो पॉइंट बता दो, आप निकल गए, उसमें से कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. बट इफ somebody wants to upgrade you, he say कि why in the lower Himalayas the soil is fragile?
Actually, Himalayas are young fold mountains and they are formed 50 million years ago only. So in geological time period, it is a very young period. So
So it has got more amount of sedimentary rocks, okay, and a large amount of water channels in that, right? So that's why in the lower Himalayas or the Tarai region, you have lot of this landslides which taking place. Okay, questions will come into that. Getting my point? So you have to basically, what I was trying to tell you is that emergence in criticality, because he has read about the terrain profile, he has read about the boring limitation of the equipment of boring, because he has also found out that you cannot do a horizontal this thing. He's been able to answer this. Simple thing, all of us are reading newspapers, isn't it? But why the answer came here is because he's been able to read it and that came out immediately. अगर आपने पढ़ा नहीं होगा, सिर्फ ऊपर से पेपर उसका पिक्चर देख लिया होगा, यार एयरफोर्स का एयरफोर्स प्लेन आके उसने क्या, they put one machine and things are concerned, right? उससे क्या, मैं इससे क्या लेना देना है इसका, यार ठीक है बंदे निकल जाएंगे, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. So if you read and read and read and make notes, फिर दिमाग में बैठ जाएगा, and at point of time it will come into requirement per se. Okay. Habits, hobbies and self-development to meet the aspirations. Lot of questions will come into your DAF के अंदर जो है ना, your curriculum बताओ, फलाना करो. Now the question, can you put the DAF please? Okay, just hold on, I'll finish this and I'll come back. I will use these habits etc. towards the end. I'll finish these myths etc. Myths and mistakes. Personality traits innate and can't be acquired. What is the answer that I given? In red में क्या लिखा है? आप खड़े जाओ बेटे, हाँ तो माइक दे दो, जल्दी जल्दी जल्दी, टाइम नहीं है. ओके, उनको एक माइक दे दो टू दिस गर्ल. और है नहीं, आप खड़े जाओ. जो ब्लू में लिखा आप पढ़ो, जो रेड में लिखा आप पढ़ना, ठीक है? पढ़ो फर्स्ट पॉइंट, जो ब्लू में लिखा है, नजर नहीं आ रहा है, देखो. फर्स्ट पॉइंट, नो ब्लू नहीं, मतलब सॉरी, ब्लैक ऑब्लिक ब्लू, या नहीं सुना ही नहीं था, जोर से पढ़ो ना. तुम एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर क्या बनोगे, है नॉट एबल टू स्पीक. ओके, हाँ, या
Personality traits innate and can't be acquired. Only black point ना.
only black point. आप रेड वाला पढ़ो.
Negative.
Do you agree?
I am not aware about it, that is why.
Personality traits are innate and can't be acquired. मतलब जो हमके अंदर है वो हमेशा रहेगा, चेंज नहीं हो पाएगा.
It will be changed.
It will change.
Yes.
So you agree with negative?
No, I am not quite agree with it, sir.
So that's why the statement is negative. Answer is negative.
Yeah, answer
Red.
is negative, but it will be positive because personality will be changed.
No, you are reinforcing one point that today if you have some sort of a personality, okay, it is quite likely to change later because of various conditions, isn't
Yes,
it? Yes or no?
yes.
Isn't it? This most of the people think कि सर मैं ऐसा ही हूँ, ये मेरे से चेंज नहीं होगा, मेरा पर्सनालिटी ऐसा ही है, मैं बचपन से गुस्सापन हूँ, ठीक है ना, मेरा बचपन से मैं जो मुझे पूछता है मैं उसको जवाब देता हूँ, मुझे बहुत गुस्सा आता है सर, ठीक है ना, मैं इमोशनल हूँ, मैं फलाना हूँ, मैं क्या करूँ, मैं ऐसा ही हूँ. And they don't improve. But everything can be improved. All your negative qualities can be improved. Getting my point? This is just to tell you that this myth has to be busted. A lot of people take pride कि सर मैं राजपूत हूँ, जब तक मुझे गुस्सा नहीं आता है ना, ओके, मैं राजपूत कैसे रहूँगा सर? यार तुम गुस्सा हो ना लड़ाई में, जब राजपूत थे, I've seen these people. I'm from the special forces, by the way. Okay, I've done a lot of surgical strikes. So we select people with this anger. Sometimes when you select commandos, let me tell you, to go across border, when I was a young officer, we should select in our battalion people of this nature. जिसका ना बहुत गुस्सा आता है. And obviously as a commander, I was also on that. But मुझे लगता है कि मैं ज़्यादा गुस्सापन हूँ करके. Okay, traits have changed, whatever it is. Okay, but the fact is that at certain point of time, these qualities are required. Okay, this can be changed. This can be changed. So don't remain with this thought process कि मैं ऐसा ही हूँ और मेरे से कुछ नहीं होगा, मैं कोई मेहनत नहीं करूँगा, मैं देखूँगा तब तक, जब एक बार रिटर्न होने से तब मैं देखूँगा, तब तक बहुत देर हो जाता है. Because not your fault. Because our schools and college curriculums are not giving that much of attention to development of personality today. स्कूल में खेलने के लिए मैदान नहीं है, कॉलेज में पढ़ता नहीं, कोई गेम ही नहीं खेलता है, कोई डिबेट ही नहीं होता है, कोई फलाना नहीं होता है, सिर्फ फेस्ट होता है कॉलेज के अंदर. सर फेस्ट होना है, डांस करना है हमें. वेल दैट्स ऑल द पार्ट ऑफ पर्सनैलिटी, देयर इज नो डाउट अबाउट इट, बट बहुत छोटा लिमिटेड है वो. ओके, रीड द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट. इंग्लिश मीडियम स्टूडेंट्स हैव एडवांटेज. मैं तुम्हारे पढ़ लिया. रेड
सर नेगेटिव लिखा हुआ है, बट इट इज नॉट that much true, because Hindi medium student also have advantage, sir. In my coaching, my sir told that कि हिंदी मीडियम के बच्चे भी हैं सेलेक्ट होते हैं और इंग्लिश मीडियम के बच्चे भी सिलेक्ट होते हैं. बट हिंदी मीडियम के बच्चे मान के चलते हैं कि 15,000 बच्चे दे रहे हैं पेपर एग्जामिनेशन, तो 600-700 बच्चों ही इंटरव्यू तक पहुंच पाते हैं. लेकिन अगर इंग्लिश मीडियम की 3,000 दे रहे हैं तो वो 3,000 भी पहुंच रहे हैं. तो आई डोंट थिंक सो सर ये नेगेटिव होगा, ये पॉजिटिव भी हो सकता है दोनों मीडियम के बच्चों के लिए.
फॉर बेनिफिट ऑफ ऑल इट इज प्योरली नेगेटिव. फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट इज वाई नेगेटिव इन द सेंस, ये जरूरी नहीं है कि इंग्लिश मीडियम स्कूल वाले विल ओनली परफॉर्म वेल इन द इंटरव्यू. फर्स्टली वी आर गिवन एन ऑप्शन, यू कैन स्पीक इन हिंदी. द ऑप्शन इज देयर इन द यूपीएससी. बोले सर आई वांट टू स्पीक इन हिंदी, यू कैन स्पीक इन हिंदी, दैट्स नॉट अ बिग प्रॉब्लम. ओके, और इंग्लिश मीडियम स्कूल सिर्फ अंग्रेजी ठीक बोल सकते हैं, बट बाकी चीज़ क्या हुआ, हमने इतने सारे पॉइंट डिस्कस किया. कॉग्निटिव कैपेबिलिटी, ह्यूमनिस्टिक कैपेबिलिटी, कनेक्टिंग द डॉट, लिमिटेशन, उसमें तो कोई अंग्रेजी का हिंदी का कोई फर्क नहीं होता है. Yeah, if it is related to that particular language, you say, okay, sir, there is a muhabra in Punjabi. If you permit, can I tell in Punjabi? That's accepted. तुम उसको तो translate नहीं कर पाओगे ना अंग्रेजी में फिर मुहावरा को. Avoid. We prefer people speaking in one language. And if you admit, कि sir, can I be permitted to speak in Hindi? We'll say, okay, you can speak in Hindi. It is permitted, right? But don't say कि सर नहीं मैं भोजपुरी में बात करूँगा और I'll speak in Malayalam. यार किसी को समझ नहीं आएगा तो मलयालम कैसे बात कर, ठीक है. So only 2 languages are permitted, English and Hindi. So why I'm trying to flash this is that a lot of people think, कि that मैं इंग्लिश में पढ़ा नहीं हूँ, मैं कॉन्वेंट नहीं हूँ, फलर नहीं हूँ, I studied in Hindi medium school. No, that's only takes care of your fluency in expression. That's all. Okay. There are many other things. Fluency is a very small part of our entire what you discussed today. Getting my point? Third, जोर से बोलो पढ़ो.
Criticism of government policies.
रेड वाला पढ़ो.
Constructive criticism and critical analysis with personal opinions are appreciated.
Agree?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, what I'm telling you, this question is came from this thing, that anything which is there, if you can justify it with power or conviction, right, and give a good reasoning ability, it actually goes in your favor. Sometimes we do question, आपको पता नहीं लगा, we actually वो चिंगारी मार देते हैं, टिगर लगा देते हैं. Okay, controversial question आपको पूछ लेंगे, ठीक है, just to take your emotional preparedness to handle that questions or not. Okay, so don't worry कि उसने यार how is it asked this question to me. Okay, nobody of course asks questions below the belt, but the issue is that they will ask you controversial questions, right? Academic excellence और personality deficiencies. We say कि अगर मैं पढ़ाई में अच्छा हूँ तो मुझे कोई पर्सनैलिटी मैं निकल जाऊंगा, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, ठीक है? Wrong. Okay, it says nuanced, balanced, fraught with great risk. People who take this nuanced balance कि मैं पढ़ाई में ठीक हूँ तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, मैं निकल जाऊंगा, it's a great risk. पढ़ाई में ठीक हो गए, if you are good, you will still get through. Okay, but then if you have done well in written, and I have seen n number of cases, let me tell you, I'm not joking, n number of cases where they have done well but have missed the bus because nobody advised them on to how to actually take care of the limitations of personalities. अगर किए होते 15-20 मार्क एक्स्ट्रा मिल जाते वो निकल जाते वो. N number of examples. So don't go with the fact that कि मैं I've been a topper in my college, I've been a topper in my school, मैंने फलाना किया हूँ and I'll get through. No, you'll be for surprise. Young candidates are disadvantaged. No, not valid, not a valid assumptions. I have flashed down certain myths and the likely answer for your information. Okay, कि मैं सर यंग हूँ ना इसलिए मुझे they don't want to become a जाके मैं जल्दी कलेक्टर बन जाऊँ करके. They want me little more experience. जब तक 27-28 साल 30 साल नहीं होगा तो इसलिए मुझे फेल कर दिया. No. We are looking for actually young people. In today's world, the moment you are 28, 29, you are actually old. We want people in the age group of 25, 26, these are the people. But today the average in civil service has moved to 28, 29. We want to reduce it, frankly speaking. You don't like his face? No. तुम बड़ा गुस्से से देख रहे हो उसको तुम? नहीं, पक्का, sure.
सर आई वांट टू आस्क यू समथिंग आल्सो. सर जैसा कि सर बोलते मतलब जैसा कि कोचिंग से बताया जाता है कि जो बच्चे 2-3 बार इंटरव्यू देते हैं वही ज़्यादा सेलेक्ट हो रहे हैं, या जिनका पहले IRS निकल चुका है, IPS बन चुके हैं, वही ज़्यादा सेलेक्ट होते हैं, ऐसा क्यों सर?
It is because नहीं, it's not true because पहले बार आप ऐसे करते हो, मैं तो you don't prepare yourself, फेल हो जाते हो. जब धक्का लगता है, ठीक है ना, फिर यू स्टार्ट थिंकिंग यार मैं कहाँ गलती हो गया, क्या हो गया, इसको पूछते हो, उसको पूछते हो, फलाना करते हो, तैयारी करते हो, यू अंडरगॉन अ पर्टिकुलर प्रोसेस, ठीक है. सो दैट इज व्हाई यू टेक 2-3 चांसेस. अदरवाइज दिस एन एग्जामिनेशन वेयर लेट मी टेल यू इट वन स्ट्रोक यू डू एबल टू क्लियर. One stroke you should be able to clear. It is because people don't give attention to these details, and not because I'm associated with Vision or something. We are the only coaching, Vision Institute where you are trying to expose you to this. No other in the whole country ever does this. Okay, just to sensitize you to the fact that personality is something which cannot be done in the matter of months or weeks. It is years. And आपको सिर्फ एक ही साल है, मैक्सिमम 2 साल अगर दूसरे चांस में जाओगे तो why you want to get into second year? ठीक है, first chance is always the best chance. That is the thing. So your preparation has to go with all in the first chance. Okay, please sit down.
Thank you so much, sir.
Some golden tips, points to remember. Master the DAF. I'll tell you how to master the DAF. Strengthen basics of a grad and postgrad subjects and optionals. ये आप भूल जाता आमतौर पर. If I'm done my graduation in economics or in history, तो बोले क्या पढ़ना है उसको, बट मैंने ऑप्शनल लिया ज्योग्राफी बिकॉज उसमें मार्क मिलता है, ठीक है, एंड मैंने अपने ग्रेजुएशन तो पढ़ाई नहीं मैंने. तो आपको क्वेश्चन पूछा जाएगा, भैया तुम हिस्ट्री स्टूडेंट हो, आप बताइए 3-4 क्वेश्चन अगर आपने बता नहीं पाया तो मुश्किल होगा. और ऑप्शन का पूछा, सर एक्चुअली मैंने पढ़ा था ड्यूरिंग दिस, अब तो मैंने भूल ही गया पूरा. दैट वाज आई ओनली स्टडी फॉर द एग्जामिनेशन सर, अब तो मैं भूल ही गया. सो ये 2 सब्जेक्ट है, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. योर बेसिक्स इफ योर जहाँ पर हो, ग्रेजुएशन में पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन जो भी है, ठीक है. आई हैव गॉन टू द एक्सटेंट ऑफ, लेट मी टेल यू, आई हैव इनफैक्ट सम गाय से कि अगर Patnaik is in the course, if you are a mechanical engineer, आपको ये सवाल आपको आ जाएगा. Somebody told me, mind you, this guys do so much of bloody analysis. Okay, I asked basic question, you tell me what's a mechanical advantage, what do you mean by torque, what do you mean by force, what do you mean so and so, just to say कि इस basic कैसा है, तगड़ा है. People में कि सर वो तो IPS बनना, IAS बनना, उसको क्या करना है, उसको torque लेकर समझने के लिए, तो पढ़ लिया उसने, काम खत्म. No, we are looking at some your basic traits. we're not looking at this knowledge, we're looking at basic traits. Your ability to go into details and understand the basic is a part of a fundamental IQ. मैं जा रहा हूँ इंटरव्यू के लिए, या मेरा सब्जेक्ट इकोनॉमिक्स है, मैं थोड़ा सा इकोनॉमिक्स तो पढ़ लेता हूँ ना, थोड़ा सा 20 क्वेश्चन अगर लोगे फंडामेंटल बेसिक का ना इकोनॉमिक्स की, आपकी बिकॉज यू रेड इट, ऑटोमेटिकली आपको तैयारी हो जाएगा, बट वो भी नहीं करते बंदे. In depth knowledge of current affairs of previous 2 years, in depth. G20 रट्टे मार लो, economic corridor रट्टे मार लो, in depth. And this in depth comes, this is the advantage of staying in groups out here. I put it 2 years, just 2 years, in depth. और उसको पूरा आप चार्ट कर दोगे, उसमें से आपको टोटल सब्जेक्ट करंट अफेयर डोमेस्टिक एंड इंटरनेशनल मिलाकर 50 से भी ज़्यादा नहीं होंगे. और 50 का जो है आप 5-5 पॉइंट याद रखो, इन डेप्थ वाला 250 पॉइंट्स. आई कैन गारंटी यू आउट ऑफ द 250 पॉइंट्स यू विल गेट 100 आपको क्वेश्चन आ जाएगा. 50 में से आपको कम से कम 20 आ जाएंगे. इन डेप्थ एनालिटिकल असेसमेंट ऑफ कंटेम्प्रेरी इशू अफेक्टिंग डेवलपमेंट, सस्टेनेबल लाइवलीहुड एंड गवर्नेंस. आजकल बड़ा कॉमन हो गया, क्लाइमेट चेंज, गवर्नेंस, SDG वगैरह वगैरह जो है, ठीक है ना. दिस इज बिकम क्वाइट अ फैड, आई फाइंड. Okay, what are the, so many questions which will come up. I'm not trying because of lack of time. Understanding own strength and limitations, personality, and improve them sufficiently in advance. Mark the word sufficiently in advance. This is a very important thing. अगर आप खुद अपने आप को पहचानोगे, because his personality, Divya's personality will be different than what's your name, bete? Sanket, okay, whatever it is. Okay. Everybody's personality is different. Only you will know कि मेरे strength क्या है, मेरे limitations क्या है. So you have to develop this habit of trying to see. Okay. Interaction process. Before that, can you just put the DAF, please? DAF wala. Have you all got DAF, this thing with you? What is most important is, apart from your initial paras of education, para 4, and you write down para 5, we ask you a lot of questions on para 7, mostly. Something which will ask you for initial part of it, but para 7, which says, please give particulars at the university, state, of national level in respect of prizes, medals, scholarships, sports, NCC, position of distinction, leadership held in school and colleges, other extracurricular activities and interests such as hobbies, etc. This forms only one para 7, one small element of your DAF. But 90% of the questions will come from this para 7 only. Because others are factual in nature. And what candidates do mistake is that, वो डिस्टिंक्शन ऑफ लीडरशिप हेल्ड इन स्कूल्स एंड कॉलेजेस, किसी को तो 10 पॉइंट लिख देते हैं. मैं सर स्कूल मॉनिटर था, मैं सर स्कूल पिकनिक में था, वहाँ पर गया था, ठीक है सर, मैं फलाना गया था, ठीक है. कोई बंदे तो लिखते नहीं बिकॉज थिंक इसको क्या लिखना है, स्कूल मॉनिटर था, मैंने क्या लिखना है कर कर, ठीक है. बट हियर द पॉइंट इज दैट इफ यू हैव एग्जिबिटेड लीडरशिप क्वालिटीज at some point in your school and college and otherwise, or if some people are working in some corporate, etc., please do mention, and don't mention more than 2 to 3. Even if you're an excellent leader, आपको 2-3 लिखो सिर्फ, और वो 2-3 का अपने ऐसे उसको तैयारी करना है, उसको बोलने कि you tell me that you said that you excelled well as a leader in so and so adventure activities. What do you think that you feel that you have exhibited very high qualitative leadership qualities? तो उस टाइम पे ऐसे मत सोचना, सर मैं याद करता हूँ कि सर मैं गया सर, आई थिंक आई वेंट सम टाइम इन सर व्हेन आई वाज इन क्लास 10th or something सर, उस टाइम पे सर पहाड़ी में चढ़े थे, एक बंदा हमारा गुम हो गया था सर, और उसको कोई ढूंढने के लिए तैयार नहीं था सर, मैंने इनिशिएटिव लिया सर उसको ढूंढने ढालने के लिए सर, ठीक है ना. यस, दिस मे बी द फैक्ट, बट द वे यू स्टार्ट ना, सर मुझे याद नहीं आज, दिस शोज दैट द वन क्वालिटी दैट यू हैव मेड एफर्ट टू राइट इट डाउन, that itself is not high priority in you. When it's high priority, matlab you should be knowing all the details and the fingertips, and especially when you're putting down in an interview sheet जहाँ पर आपको number मिलेगा, and expecting that मुझे इसके ऊपर question भी आ सकता है. Say for instance, you said that I exhibited leadership quality during adventure, mountaineering adventure, and so and so. You straight away say, how did you exhibit your leadership qualities? Sir, I was in class 10, sir. We had gone on a mountaineering expedition to Mount Tiger Hill near Darjeeling, sir. And at that point of time, our route was so and so. This was the third day of my expedition, of my mountaineering expedition. And during the process of expedition, one guy lost the route. And we were really not knowing where it was. We kept on trying to communicate, and so. 2 or 3 hours have passed, and darkness was falling in. I said, how to do about it? If you leave that person alone, then you might die. I took a team of around 2 to 3 people. We started moving on so and so karke. We searched, we carried out so and so. Ultimately, so we've been able to find that out. The very fact that I remember this as leadership qualities, that I saved that person that day, and which I can't forget in my life. Convincing, not convincing? And this you can only say if you're prepared. कि मुझे सवाल आएगा तो मैं उसको बताऊंगा. Because you're still young, you're still and you are so much pressed with so many things to read and study and prepare. You cannot. So जो भी आपको बोलना पड़ेगा, unless you prepare in advance, you'll not be this thing. Say, instance, you represented, your school in cricket. You're bound to get questions. Okay, you are a bowler or a batsman, and so and so. Who is your favorite batsman? Sir, Virat Kohli, sir. Tell me why Virat Kohli is a great batsman. Everybody knows. But we want to know कि आप क्यों उसको appreciate करना चाहते हो? Because in psychological profile, there is something called a reflection. आप जिसको जिस मुताबिक आप appreciate करते हो, वो actually आपका quality है. अगर आप किसी को criticize करते हो ना, वो reflection भी आपका that you are always negative. That's why criticizing. So if you're able to appreciate Virat Kohli's capability positively, that means firstly you got a positive quality. The second is, if you're able to say, sir, why Virat Kohli is this thing? Not because he has scored maximum runs, but then he works against adversity. He is able to take challenges. He comes in critical times to take care of this thing. And he keeps himself physically fit so that he wants to remain at the age of 35 also. He is not scared to take ones and twos. Okay. And he is always jovial on this thing. He actually creates a huge amount of inspiration and motivation for young players who come up. People look up to him, sir. So he is a model who has got, ingrained leadership qualities, everything combined in one, and is able to take risks. I like people who take risks. So without knowing, you are conveying your quality to the interview board. So what is the interview board trying to say? Yeah, here is a boy. He is able to not only appreciate quality, he is able to find out. So what we start seeing as people listening, that yes, he can take risks, he can. You may not be able to, but we have to make impression. हमारे पास कोई tool नहीं है ना. We require some tools, and unless you respond, हम आपको कैसे assessment करेंगे? Your entire assessment is based upon what you respond. आप जो जवाब दोगे उसी को हम बताएंगे. आप कुछ नहीं बोलोगे, सर विराट कोहली बड़ा अच्छा है सर. अरे क्यों अच्छा है? सर इतने रन बनाया सर. और क्या चाहिए सर? अच्छा, तो और कुछ बता विराट कोहली बारे में. सर इज मैरिड टू सो एंड सो. क्या? अनुष्का शर्मा सर. Okay, so you like Virat Kohli because married to Anushka Sharma, or other way around? Anushka Sharma got this thing. Whatever it is, I'm just giving an example. So when answers are not very specific in nature and is beating around the bush, you are actually reflecting a personality that you don't have the power to go into details. Because this is something which will allow you to write it your own. हमने इसको नहीं पूछा था कि भाई तुम ये लिखो कर. ये अपने सोच समझकर अपने टाइम पर जो है इसको लिखने के लिए बताया. And that is why you give so much emphasis to this. Co-curricular activities, singing. What do you sing? Sir, actually, sir, I'm not fond of classical or something. तो क्या सिंग करते? सर मैं बाथरूम सिंगर हूँ सर. यार बाथरूम सिंगर तो करते तो यहाँ पर लिखने की क्या जरूरत है? मत लिखो इसको. If you are a classical singer, classical dancer, so and so, I've done Bharatanatyam, so and so करके, please write down. That's what I appreciate. You are fond of angling, you are fond of golfing, you are fond of sports, you are fond of so and so. जो आपने किए हो लिखो, because these qualities are very much appreciated. हमने जो इतना जो slide आपको दिखाया है, हमको automatically first impression यहाँ से आ जाता है. We only start corroborating, subsequently whether you have those qualities or not. But many of the qualities straightway come to us because we feel that if you have made conscious effort to write out here, that means I'm sure you must have done it and done it with true integrity and this thing. और यहाँ पर आपने गलती कर दिया, झूठ लिख लिया आपने, you go for a 6. Because this you are done with consciousness. This you are done with consciousness. Baki things are factual. So when you write something which are own, your para 7 is such an important element. You must practice how to write and of course how to reply. I told you carries 271. Difference in main written marks are very marginal. The total difference in your this thing sometimes comes within 100. Let me tell you this. Okay, out of the total candidates that has come through. Swing of 150 marks. This one test, you can get as low as 50, you can go as low as 210, 220, 230, 240 also. Why, given an average of 150, sometimes, but the swing is almost 150, 200. आप जितने भी अच्छे करो रिटन टेस्ट के अंदर, ठीक है ना, योर डिफरेंस, बिकॉज एट द एंड ऑफ द डे ओनली कट ऑफ लाइन हम डाल देते हैं, उसको लेके आते हैं. सो प्लस माइनस जो है स्विंग इज नॉट वेरी मच, बट हियर द स्विंग कैन बी एज हाई एज 200 प्लस. Just imagine if you're ranging in the field of 150, 160, that a normal personality, through advanced practice, through sustained effort, through improvement of so and so, understanding so and so, if you get 200, 50 mark आपने difference कर दिया ना यहाँ पर. सीधा if you are slightly done not well in the written, you can veer around to the IAS and IFS. Otherwise, you'll be in some allied services. In case you cleared it. Personal test is dynamic and a game changer. We just discussed about this. It's a dynamic process. It's not a constant thing. You understand dynamic and constant? Dynamic is something which changes. And a game changer, why? Because this alone can change the entire game of your examination and your success and failure. This alone. But उसको हम आखिर में करते हैं सब कुछ. तब देखेंगे तैयारी होगा. Philosophy, what do you require? People. We require people with balanced personality, with emotional resilience, intellectual curiosity, and social inclusivity. This covers the entire balanced personality of an administrator that you're looking for. Balanced personality, ना तो ज़्यादा गुस्सापन होगा, ना तो ज़्यादा हंसी होगा, ना तो ज़्यादा खुशी होगा. Look at balanced. Emotional resilience. You have to keep a lot of things within yourself. Don't get influenced by your parents, your relatives, your friends, or bribe people giving you bribes, politicians, and so and so. That is your emotional resilience. Absolutely not moved by anything, like an ocean. Not in the ocean in the shores, but deep ocean. And that meditativeness of human being, that let anything happen, I will not get disturbed. And this will stand in good stead whether you are in civil service or anything for that matter. Emotional resilience. We undergo a lot of emotional trauma, let me tell you, in my profession. I have seen dead bodies in front of me. I have lifted people. Casualties taking place in Kargil and other places. But you as a leader, if you fall apart, then nothing will move ahead. So this is a highly recommended requirement. Intellectual curiosity. As I told you, he just mentioned about tunneling. If you didn't have the curiosity, you'll not find out about this. You just paper padla like everybody is reading papers, or you're glossing over on electronic media. But kyun? Itne din ho gaya, kyun why these 42 people are not being able to rescue? What is the problem? What is the technicality? As a country like us, do you have to go to a country like Thailand for this? उसके अंदर ऐसे कौन से इक्विपमेंट जो हमारे पास नहीं है? Why did that we have to go for German equipment firstly? हमारे पास क्यों इक्विपमेंट नहीं है? What is the structure of the terrain there? What is the profiling system there? वो बंदे कैसे अभी तक जी रहे हैं, उनके पास पानी खाना कैसे जा रहा है? These are part of intellectual curiosity. Small element. They may not be related to us, but they are human beings. So if you don't have that intellectual curiosity, you will never be able to go beyond a particular domain knowledge of information. You will just be confined with what you know yourself. And last but not the least, your social inclusivity. I discussed already thing with you. So a charge broad cheese जो है, we start looking for in a future potential of an administrator. Thank you. I finished. If you have any questions, you can ask me. ये जो vision coming out with this supplement is a wonderful thing. Just go through it again and make notes out of it. इसको ऐसे मत रख लेना. Make notes out of it. From here, you build up an intellectual curiosity. Pick up any subject for a matter. Let me pick up some subject as I look at it. Artificial intelligence and elections. Read more about it. What does it imply? Since so and so. It's not that here likha hua hai to that is the end of it. No. Make your own notes. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, any questions? Yeah. Yeah, please. You have to say loudly before the mic comes. I think we'll give opportunity to them.
Sir, I just want to ask that how many hobbies on the deaf are not too less and not too many?
Yeah, but not a very relevant question. जो तुम्हारा hobby है, if you have a hobby, write. If you don't have it, no, there is no harm in not writing anything. I don't have hobbies. If people say, don't you feel like reading books? No, I don't feel like reading books. Kam khatam. But if you read books, it's a plus point. Okay, if you are good in music, if you are fond of music, this thing, or you say, sir, it's not a hobby to me, but I as a recreation, I love listening to music. Hobby is something which you pursue as a part of your interest and aspirations. Recreation is something which I want to enjoy. मैं picture देखने जाता हूँ. I like seeing movies for that matter. I can't say it's a hobby. It's a recreation. When I go, I'll feel a little happy on this particular thing. जाके fire and forget, उसको काम खत्म. I want that little moment of happiness and recreation. That's why I go for a movie. I see a drama. But what is hobby? Supposing a film was a hobby for that matter, that means you got to know more about films, right? How is a film made? What is the thing like? What do you mean by editing? What is so and so? Because you have an interest in that, so we expect out of intellectual curiosity to know more about it. Just merely saying that मैं picture देखता हूँ, मुझे अंग्रेजी picture अच्छा आता है, ठीक है ना? And my hobby is seeing English movies. And if you ask with, please tell me 5 good English movies which have won the Oscars in last 2 years. फंस गया आप जब फिर. Sir, वो मैंने. Sir, I don't see Oscar type movies, sir. पर क्या देखते हो? Sir, I see Mission Impossible, this, that, वगैरह कुछ तो कुछ बोलोगे. So you are putting itself into a mud. Answers इंटरव्यू में कभी ऐसा मत करना है कि आपने अपने ग्रेव आपने खुद खोद लिया. बहुत लोगों को मैं देखा हूँ एकदम वो उसमें फंस जाते हैं मड में, फिर उसको निकलना बड़ा मुश्किल होता है. ठीक है? So be very clear. If you have no hobbies, no problem. Getting my point?
So for example, sir, I also have this doubt. Let's say I play football and I like playing football and I know a lot about the techniques and all of the stuff that is used on the game. But I don't know about what goes on the international championships and all. I don't like watching football. I like playing football. Is that a hobby for me?
Yeah, it can be termed as you like playing. The word you said, I like playing football. You like it. As far things are concerned. Okay. And one particular area that you like and you pursue it as far things are concerned. It's a hobby. Okay, yes. Besides the fact that the next question will ask you, have you represented school, college or something? Okay, you say, sir, I represented a school, but college में तो मौका नहीं मिला खेलने के लिए. ठीक है ना? Good enough. But after that, I've been following football in the sense that I've been following European League. Okay, can you tell me a couple of football stars, so and so? Okay. So that preparation you should do because you have committed that you play football. You should know what Ronaldo is. You should know what Messi is. At least they'll ask you, Messi is from which country? Ronaldo is from which country? Nobody is asking कि भाई Ronaldo को कितने पैसे मिल रहा है और उसको कैसे कितने पैसे मिले और सऊदी अरेबिया ने भी कितने पैसे दिया रोनाल्डो को. Nobody going to ask you that money. But at least they will ask you उसकी बेसिक कंट्री क्या है, फलाना क्या है, why did he change from so and so, what was his basic English Premier League, what did he play for. Okay, they may ask you something in India. Tell me who is the Indian captain, or tell me some good players. Who is the Indian goalkeeper? That fellow is doing quite well now. Okay, Chetri has been a captain for a pretty long time. They'll ask you, tell me, if at all the interview was set, let's say a couple of days from now, 10 odd days, this thing. Like, okay, there is a big signing between, between India and the FIFA for establishing a FIFA academy in India. Where is the location? It's being signed today in Bhubaneswar. Okay, so these questions, because if then we will corroborate कि ये बंदा जो है सिर्फ बोलने के लिए नहीं बोल रहा है कि I like football. You got my point? So here there's a personality gap. ये बंदा बोल रहा है I like football, but उसको फुटबॉल में मालूम नहीं है. वो बोला नहीं सर I only मुझे वो पसंद नहीं है. So this is a personality deficit. If you like something, you ought to know about it. Do you have a girlfriend?
Not now, so no.
Not now. Had before?
I had in the past.
Okay, girlfriend or boyfriend. You are suppose you have a girlfriend, you should know what she likes. यार उसको वो क्या बोलते हैं पापड़ी चाट पसंद है, तुम उसको बड़ी पिज़्ज़ा दे देते हो, या पिज़्ज़ा पसंद है, तुम उसको नहीं तुम गोलगप्पा खाना है. You are going in the wrong lines then. After some time she will teach you. ठीक है? Getting my point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
चलो.
Sir, we talked about emotional stability. So I wanted to ask you that how do we counter questions that are very emotional to us, like why do we want to be in the services? So this is a question that has got an emotional side. Some of us want to prove ourselves. Some of us are attracted by the respect that the services offer. And also, if we are objective in these questions, does it affect our integrity?
See, firstly, this is not an emotional question. This is a very practical question. If I want to join a particular service, yes, I have made up my mind. I thought about the pros and cons of it and decided to join. Okay. What the plus point of any public service is that, yes, firstly, it gives you protection. It gives you constitutional protection. Right? It gives you security. It gives you growth. It gives you so and so. Okay. And more important is that, you get a chance to serve the public. Right? The flip side is, yes, transfers, frequent transfer. The salary is not as commensurate to the corporate as far as things are concerned. Okay, there's some flip side of public service also, right? So you have to be very clear that this is the advantage, this is the disadvantage. Yet I have taken a decision because I feel that I will do more justice to myself if I remain in public service, because I'll have something which can impact the society.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Getting my point? I'm just giving a sample answer. Don't write it down and say कि नहीं सर ने ये बोल रहा था मैं ये बोल दूंगा करके. ठीक है ना? फिर भूल भाल जाओगे, एक sentence भूल जाओगे तो मुझको याद करोगे फिर. ठीक है? So the point here is this: how you should be very, very impactful. The catchword is impact. Public service. Okay, so and so. Getting my point? So this is what it is like. Question is, you will be posted in far up places जहाँ पर बच्चों के लिए school नहीं होगा, फलान नहीं होगा. How are you going to handle your family issues or something? Okay. This is a part of the game, as far as things are concerned. I'll put them in local schools, I'll send them so they're all part of the game. Got my point? So, thank you.
In some situations when we have to show leadership, they are informal situations and we cannot put them in, say, 3 words. For example, you gave the example of you going to that expedition. You can say that I led a search party expedition, or I led a party to mountaineering. But in some situations, let's just say I used to arrange, let's just say in our college, we had to arrange practical files and notes and everything. So I was the person, but my college did not have that class representative thing or a monitor or some sort of a thing position. It was not a formal thing. So how can I put that in words? Or for other people also, there are some informal situations of leadership where we cannot put that in words.
See, if that leadership was so good enough that it had the element of cognizance, people have recognized it, right? You have been awarded for a particular thing, then it was mentioning. But sometimes what you feel that is it was a good thing, but somehow or the other it doesn't get into because every achievement, the word is achievement, if you see, achievement means what? Somewhere it has had some element of recognition. Okay, there is certain structured recognition, there is some unstructured recognition. Structured in the sense, yes, the principal called you, give you a Savasi, they give you a recognition certificate, they give you excellence award, they give you 1,000 rupees cash award, and so on so. So these are certain structured recognitions. Unstructured recognitions, yes, the organization did well, my team did well, everything. My intervention made sure that the entire team performed a wonderful show, which had never happened before. Because these are intangibles, you see, okay. So at that time, I feel satisfied that it was because of my intervention that I could get the team together, we could produce a wonderful dramatic stream, and then, sir, my college batch was at just the best, we produced one of the best play in the college. Okay, and in the process, if you are acting yourself, sir, I got the best actor. अगर तुमको खुद मिला होगा, ऐसा मत बोलना.
So, sir, if we didn't get any recognition per se, and it's something.
So you should say, link it up with that, what overall achievement, what impact had towards the organization per se. Okay, you have to get it for it. Otherwise, don't write it.
Okay.
Well, we do a lot of things in life. Okay, many times. But what you feel, yes, that's an achievement. If it is formally recognized, then it gives a credibility more. Okay, yeah.
So, good evening, sir.
Yeah.
So, in your discussion, you have underlined the importance of being decisive in nature when it comes to administration. In the contemporary times, because of the plethora of information or due to the fear of consequences, we tend to be indecisive. We tend to sit on the fence. So how do we inculcate that kind of decisiveness? What is expected and required from us?
Look, firstly, always in organizational interest. One principle always keep in mind. Whatever I do, it's for my organizational interest. If you are in district, if you are in this, what is good for my organization? If it benefits organization, a group of people that you feel convinced absolutely well, your decision will always be correct. The moment you transship yourself from organization to personal interest or community interest or little amount of favoritism, मैं कर लेता हूँ क्या फर्क पड़ता है यार, ठीक है ना, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. You are deviating yourself. Same thing, why people become corrupt. You start very small thing. यार क्या हो गया, 1000 रुपये तो ले लिया, उसमें क्या प्रॉब्लम, आजकल 1000 रुपये क्या होता क्या है. No, that 1000 rupees creates a tendency in you. It creates a tendency in you. In fact, both in Gita and the present day scientific revelation says that the moment you do something which is wrong, our genes tend to actually memorize it much faster than goodness. To know this. Supposing आपने चोरी किया है, that choriness is going to be ingrained in your body much faster and will keep coming to you quite often without your subconscious mind telling you that what is to be done, not to be done. At the first instance, कहीं तब तुमको कोई देख नहीं रहा, तुम किसी को चोरी कर लोगे. Because now that has been proved through neural testing. Through neural testing. Goodness, the question is why goodness and why bad is thing, the science is yet to come out. But the Gita says this, that all your negative qualities so and so will always manifest faster, much more. In which Lord Krishna says that I will get to know earlier than you get to know yourself. In chapter 13. This is what is something which always comes up. So, the most important in life is tendencies. So the moment you curb tendencies, you will not get into habit. And the moment you curb habits, okay, then it starts becoming your nature, a good nature per se. Whether in terms of preparation, that you do examination, or in terms of your positivity per se. So anywhere, when you say you have to take decision, you have organizational interest, one, and if you have developed yourself in such a manner, in fact, there's a lecture, we take it on humanistic dimension, quite a big lecture, on how exactly your self and ego and esteem starts manipulating in your body. Okay, maybe sometime later. So this is what, so decision making, so the question was decision making. The moment you put the overall framework, that what I am taking a decision is in organizational interest and not in personal interest, you'll never go wrong in life. This is my personal experience. Getting my point? Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. I want to ask 3 questions. They're very short, and I'll ask it in Hindi. And sir, मेरा पहला question ये है कि preparation के बारे में है. जैसे हम पढ़ने का हमारा प्रिपरेशन का मोटिव ही है कि हम अपने आप को ढाल सकें कि हम जो सिस्टम में फिट हो सकें, बट कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि पढ़ते समय हमें लगता है कि वी आर बिकमिंग एंटी सोशल, तो उसको कर्व करने का तरीका शायद मुझे मालूम है, बट मैं आपके जवाब को मैं ज़्यादा
Antisocial, you mean to say you don't want to mix with people?
यस
हैं?
मतलब पढ़ाई में इतना इंटरेस्ट आता है कि लाइक आई स्टार्ट इग्नोरिंग द पीपल अराउंड मी एंड इट बिकम्स बैड फॉर देम.
The earlier you change this quality, the better it is. Otherwise, you'll soon get into a cocoon, okay, wherein your mind will not open up. You may still clear prelims or something in nature because of very hard, because you start ingraining certain basic concepts, basic thought process in life. कि I will get into hard work, I'll get into no nonsense, I'll get into so and so. मैं किसी बात नहीं करूँगा. I don't waste my time. I'll not see movies. I'll see so and so. No, we are not aiming. I told you balanced personality.
Yes, accepted.
As administrator, we are looking not for a this thing. We are looking for a balance. ऐश करो, पढ़ाई करो, खुश करो, ठीक है ना? पिक्चर जाओ. Don't get into this thing कि यार मैं किसी को बात नहीं करूँगा. We are social beings. You must understand. Human are social beings. बात नहीं करोगे तो mind will not be developed. Okay, yeah.
Yes, sir. The second question is conviction कैसे develop करें हम खुद के अंदर?
You have to enhance your knowledge base.
Sir, may
Knowledge base.
May I elaborate on
Yeah.
this? जैसे कई बार हमारे लाइफ में चॉइसेस आती हैं हमारे पास, और उन चॉइसेस में से हमें एक ऑप्शन पिक करना होता है. पिक करने के बाद हम ये देखते हैं कि हमारे पीछे लाइक वी स्टार्ट लुकिंग फॉर अदर पीपल जो उन्होंने सिमिलर चॉइसेस पिक किए हैं क्या. हम पाते हैं कि आई एम अलोन, तो उस टाइम पे एक फियर आता है अंदर कि मैं अकेला हूँ, और उस टाइम पे मैं पाता हूँ कि कन्विक्शन की कमी है, तो वो डेवलप कैसे करें?
See, as I told you, firstly on any conviction like supposing there are people who convince themselves that I will steal, or I will commit theft, I'll commit robbery. They have certain set of principles life कि मैं करूँगा. Whether it was a child abuse or it was something that happened during the initial years of grooming, one doesn't know. Who was that famous guy who was in jail in Nepal? अपना Indian fellow. Sobras Charles Sobras. Okay, Charles. You read his biography. He was convinced that मुझे यही करना है, and this will give him, satisfaction. This will give him success. This will give him recognition, so and so. Okay, so he had certain belief. I want to be recognized as a great robber. कोई क्या करोगे तुम उसको? So he became an expert in that. He got himself convinced. But आप आपको अपने वो convince अगर करोगे कि मैं एक अच्छा एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर बनना चाहता हूँ, ठीक है ना, इसके लिए मैं मेहनत कर कर जो है मुझे ये आगे करना पड़ेगा, ठीक है ना, you have to convince yourself.
Yes. And the third question is about criticism कैसे handle करें. हमारी तरफ आता है, हम कैसे ये माने कि
deflect, deviate. Okay, first is deflect, right? Just don't worry about criticism because they are not part of your cup. जो तुमको criticize करता है, that is his headache यार. वो तुम्हारा headache थोड़ी है. That is his thought process. You don't like my way of looking at it. You don't like the way I put my dress or something. तुम criticize करो. वो तुम्हारा perception है यार. I'm not beholden to your perception. This is my way of looking at it. As long as I don't undermine my own social norms. Getting my point? So deflect. फिर भी आता है deviate. Somebody says क्या तुम क्यों लाल कमीज पहन के आता है? बोलता मुझे लाल कमीज अच्छा है. चेंज कर दो, क्या प्रॉब्लम होता है? लाल के बदले वो ये पहन लो, पिंक पहन लो, और कुछ पहन लो, ठीक है ना? आई एम जस्ट गिवन एन एग्जांपल. डिफ्लेक्ट एंड डेविएट. यस और नो? ओके. या या you got a mic? Yeah, she's got a mic. Yeah.
Hello sir.
Yeah.
Sir, actually I have completed my schooling in 2020 और सर उस टाइम कोविड पीरियड था. और सर मेरे जितने भी जो साथ में बच्चे 12th क्लास में थे और सर जो 21-22 साल के हैं, तो सर हमारा जो ज़्यादातर जो कॉलेज हुआ है वो ऑनलाइन क्लासेस के थ्रू हुआ है. और सर ज़्यादातर बच्चों ने जो अपना कॉलेज था वो ओपन लर्निंग से किया था, जैसे DUSOL है और इग्नू है. तो सर अभी ये इनसिक्योरिटी आती है कि जो इंजीनियर्स हैं जो हमारे सीनियर हैं, तो सर उनको चूज करेंगे और हमें क्या पता कम प्रायोरिटी मिले इसमें.
यार बेटे सुनो, syllabus is quite a vast syllabus, जिसमें it doesn't make any bias towards an engineering student or a general student. Rather, it is more biased toward a general student. If you see the 9 subjects, अगर आप prelims ले लो, ठीक है? The engineering, except for that CSAT जो है, उसमें जो थोड़ा सा, और उसको यार तुम practice कर लो, मैं बता रहा हूँ उसमें कोई खास नहीं है. I'm not an engineering student, but when I was sitting paper for this thing in my state, I saw the questions being put across by the people, so-called experts, were so stupid and so difficult. मतलब यार, why are you putting these questions? I asked them कि नहीं सर सिविल से, मतलब यार इसमें आधे बंदे तो नॉन इंजीनियरिंग स्टूडेंट है. Why are you trying to give them an advantage of this particular thing? I changed the entire pattern. बोलता ये हो नहीं पाएगा, मतलब छोड़ तुम उसको. मैंने खुद सेटिंग किया उसको. It was not a very big this thing. What I want to say is that it is basically common sense, and common sense are basically strengthened, ratified as more and more when you actually practice. So that takes care of your other part. बाकी तो सबके लिए same है, level playing field है. Even you come to now mains also, you have got options now, optional ले लो, फलाना करो. Engineering student बेटी geography लेते हैं, उसका क्या है मुझे बताओ. Okay, so ये दिमाग से निकाल देना कि that because I had done online and because of the COVID and so these are all self excuses. Life में कभी भी self excuse मत करना. Not only for examination, just remember this. जिस दिन आप self excuse करना करोगे, that is the time of your downfall, degradation. Whether in terms of a competency, in terms of personality, okay, or in terms of outlook towards life. Present, most important is outlook towards life. If you look at things very beautifully, everything is so beautiful, and it is beautiful, let me tell you this. आप बिल्डिंग छोड़कर चले जाओ, आप मुझे बताओ नेचर में कोई ऐसी चीज़ है जो कि ब्यूटीफुल नहीं है. आप छोटे पत्ते भी ले लो, फूल ले लो, पक्षियाँ ले लो, वो ले लो, everything so symmetrical and beautiful here. Okay, so the whole nature is actually beautiful. हम अपने आप को दुखी बनाते हैं सिर्फ. And self-imposed problems of life. अगर मैं एग्जाम को नहीं होगा यार, how does it matter? Point here is, you say कि यहाँ मैंने 1 साल यहाँ पर गुजार दिया, and all of us know कि that out of 5 lakh students who appear, पहले तो 10 लाख एप्लीकेशन भरते हैं, उसमें से पहले आधा निकाल देते हैं, appear ही नहीं करते. I don't know why do they those things, unnecessarily paying money to the system. उस 5 लाख में से आपको 1000, 1200, 1300 सिलेक्ट होंगे, क्या बाकी सब बेकार हो गए? यहाँ पर जो आपको सिखाई मिलती है, that will you must say कि that if I get selected, nothing like it. That's my vision and aspiration. God forbid if some people are better than me and they get selected, I will not mind, but I have empowered and prepared myself so well that I will clear any other thing for that matter. Okay, that should be a positiveness of a things are concerned. So the advantage of this particular education out there being together and trying to this thing should be so good कि that अगर मैं ये नहीं होना चाहिए कि अगर मैं 1 साल करूं, 2 साल करूं, 3 साल करूं, नहीं होगा, घर में क्या बोलेंगे, वो क्या बोलेंगे, तूने टाइम वेस्ट कर दिया. Yeah, that is their headache. Yeah, that's what thing. Do you realize that how much of knowledge you would have gained by merely preparing and studying for this particular examination? This will remain for the rest of your life. Rest of your life, let me tell you this. And it will always keep helping you in every field. Okay. Look at things beautiful. Look at small things. Enjoy small things of life. Life में और कोई आंसर नहीं है, मैं बता रहा हूँ. आप छोटे छोटे चीज़ों को खुश नहीं होगे ना, ओके, आप बड़े चीज़ तक पहुँच ही नहीं पाओगे, तो तब उसको कब खुशियाँ मनाओगे?
एंड सर मेरा सेकंड क्वेश्चन ये है.
और भी क्वेश्चन है, बताओ. हाँ
यस सर. सर
थोड़ा माइक नज़दीक ले आओ.
सर
और थोड़ा नज़दीक, और थोड़ा नज़दीक. यू सिंग सॉन्ग, डू यू सिंग सॉन्ग्स? गाने गाते हो तो वही माइक नज़दीक रखते हो ना. हाँ अभी बस.
सर मैं बहुत सारे मॉक इंटरव्यूज देखती हूँ और उसमें मतलब एक कॉमन क्वेश्चन ये रहता है, या फिर मैं किसी को बताती भी हूँ कि मैं आईएएस के लिए प्रिपेयर कर रही हूँ, तो वो मुझसे पूछते हैं कि तुम्हें यही सर्विस क्यों चूज़ करनी है. तो सर इसका ये बहुत सारे बच्चों का एक कॉमन डाउट रहता है कि इसका आंसर क्या दें। जैसे कि मूवीज में भी दिखाते हैं, उसमें वो ऐसे उनको आंसर देते हैं कि नहीं, हमें ये नहीं सुनना कि आपको देश सेवा करनी है, ये करना है, वो करना है। आप एक स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड आंसर
See,
दो
one
एक
of the
ओरिजिनल।
straightforward answer is that first and foremost is that there are so many services, and this is the only service which gives you access to public service. And public service is important because this has got impact value, right? How impact value? Impact value, tomorrow you want to elevate the poverty level, you can do that. You can enhance the sanitation level, you can do that. You can enhance the economic level, you can do that. You can be part of the law and administration, you can do that. You can part of the development, you can do that. You can part of the sustainable goal achievement, you can do that. Okay, and towards the end, when I grow up, sir, in service, I'll have access to policy formulations. Okay, right? So I think this is one of the biggest privilege I will have, that I would have done work at the ground level where I have made an impact on the public, and as I grow up, I would have I'll be I'll have access to policy creation, policy formulation, and also implementations. I think this is one of the biggest thing that you can have.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, my question is on the same line on decision making. Sir, you advised us to take decisions which is beneficial for the organization. Sometimes, sir, situations are there where personal and professional work, the decision making, or both have equal consequences, and we have to prioritize both. And this decision paralysis, this tendency of decision paralysis. So how to overcome this?
See, the line between this professional and personal line should be made as thin as possible. If you keep it thick, then you'll get into paralysis. And how to make it thin, as far as things are concerned. The question, of course, sir, usko kaise patla banaye, usko between life and this thing. Okay, you should not be emotionally attached to either of this.
Okay, sir.
You getting my point?
Yes, sir.
When you start becoming too much emotionally attached with family, okay, right? So naturally, the dividing line becomes thick. So you do your job. Yes, say tomorrow you are married, say for instance, and your husband is posted at some other place, and आपको और जगह posting हुआ है. Good enough. You have taken you always think that it is my decision. Nobody has told me to join the civil services. मैंने खुद अपने decision लिया है. मैंने खुद यहाँ पर आने की कोशिश की. मैंने exam दिया. मैंने खुद pass किया. All my life it has been my decision. I don't want to blame anybody. So you must have that moral integrity and fiber to say that yes, I have taken a damn decision. That's all. And emotionally, why should I be now cribbing myself? कि मेरा husband यहाँ पर है, मेरा बच्चा इधर पढ़ रहा है, मेरा फलाना पढ़ रहा है, okay, मेरा posting नहीं हो रहा, मेरा transfer उधर कर दिया, ठीक है ना? रोना किसको होता है? All these things should have been known much in advance. Like I was in the army, let me tell you this. After getting married, I never saw the face of my wife for at least 2 years. Actually, I forgot her face also. And luckily, I think she's coming today here. Okay, so whatever it is there, you can ask her. I really, I was posted somewhere in the northeast fighting the Nagaland insurgency. And I was to get married, and my commanding officer, I was a captain those days, and told me, यार थोड़ा बहुत काम है वहाँ पर, थोड़ा कुछ वो कर लो. And we got into an encounter. I went into, traveled into Burma to carry a surgical strike. And आते वक्त उन्होंने पूरा बंद कर दिया, crossing the border. हमने बोला यार बड़े मुश्किल से शादी हो रहा है, वापस नहीं जाएगा तो शादी नहीं होगा. उस टाइम पे there is no mobile, nothing of this, no communication at all. My dad actually had gone to a cousin of mine, यार तुम वो लड़की से शादी कर लेना, उसका कोई भरोसा नहीं है. I just came one day before to utter surprise to everybody, पता नहीं भूत कहाँ से आ गए कर. One day before, and I moved away 3 days later, never to see my wife for at least next 8 months. Yes, this was a decision I took. Nobody told me to join the army. I took a decision. I should be respecting my own decision. मैं अपने को गाली दूंगा, having taken a decision. No, we are not a conscript army. कि that तुम किसको उसने बताया करके. No, it's a voluntary army. I have taken a decision. I know it's a difficult life. गोली वोली लग जाएगा, मर जाएंगे, काम खत्म यार. How does it matter? हम लोग लगा गोली, हम आपका सामने बैठे हैं. I am injured here, but I am still standing. मरा तो नहीं ना, I am not dead. Or am I looking like I am talking like a ghost? You got my point? So respect your own self. Respect your decision. Okay, maintain emotional resilience. You'll never go wrong in decision making.
Sir,
Okay.
We tend to change decisions. Like, okay.
Don't change decisions. क्यों बोल रहे हो? You starting with the pre-suffix, you want to change decision. Why do you change decisions? Decisions are taken not to be changed. That's why it's called decision. It's not to be changed.
So what if it goes wrong? That thing.
The
will be
Wait,
there anyway.
very few decisions go right, by the way, let me tell you. Including on marriage. Okay, so don't get worried about it. You heard of a fellow called Napoleon? Napoleon Bonaparte, okay, he's considered one of the biggest generals of the history, whatever said and done. He writes in his book that, anytime he went for a campaign or a battle or something, he was so genius that he used to work for 15 contingencies. कि अगर ये मैं जाऊंगा, अगर ये गलत हो जाएगा तो मैं ये करूंगा, वो नहीं हो तो मैं ये करूंगा, और वो नहीं तो करूंगा. We are trained to max go for 3 to 4 contingencies. When you say we in the army, everywhere for that matter. And human brain can go in for at least 7, 8 contingencies if they're well reformed. He had the geniusness to go into 15 contingencies. But he writes that eventually he applied the 16th one. Even for a genius like Napoleon Bonaparte also goes into this. Okay, every plan is designed to go wrong the moment it starts. You must understand this. आपने छोटा घर में शादी वादी प्लान किया होगा, कुछ आपने गेट टुगेदर प्लान किया होगा, आपने देखा लास्ट मिनट में कुछ ना कुछ गड़बड़ हो जाएगा, या तो कोई सामान नहीं आएगा, कुक नहीं आएगा, फलाना नहीं आएगा, ठीक है ना? What are we talking about this thing? So, and this is where your leadership comes in. How quickly you are able to adapt yourself to the changing situations. That is the essence of leadership. और कुछ नहीं है. हम थोड़ी machines हैं कि जो जिसको बड़ी configure किया कंप्यूटर के मुताबिक चलता रहेगा, वो नहीं है. We are human beings. Human beings will make mistakes, human beings will go wrong, human beings will have different views, different attitudes and so on. So, and that's what make the life more interesting. और नहीं तो यहाँ पर सारे machines जैसे आप robots, supposing all of your robots, let's take it for instance, you think life would be interesting? ये सवाल नहीं पूछता, वो नहीं सवाल पूछता, ये नहीं सवाल पूछता, ये हंसती नहीं होगी, ठीक है ना? नहीं, okay. Getting my point, na? Okay, yeah.
Sorry, sir. My last question.
If you're not eating into other people's time, that's all, yeah.
Sir, I'll keep it short. Sir, for working professionals, you said to expand resources, like study more, but some say less is more, especially for working professionals who have time paucity. How to keep up this?
You're working?
Yes, sir.
So what's your challenge? That you can't study?
Paucity of time, like I cannot expand.
See, you've taken a call to appear for this examination.
Yes.
So that initial assessment is that how much time I can take out. Okay, should have been one of the fundamental things in taking a decision. Right, having taken the decision, now you are saying that, okay, I've got a little paucity of time. Time is not a very major thing for clearing the examination. It is a question of effective time and your preparation that you are. You say there are a lot of people who came, मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ, but वो सच में पढ़ रहे नहीं पढ़ रहे वो देखो यार, ठीक है? So how much time you are able to devote effectively for your own preparations, and many times while working also, let me tell you, you have a change. मैं काम कर रहा हूँ, I am now. So you decide कि I am going to give 5 to 6 hours every day. If you can't start off with 3 hours, graduate to 4 hours, छुट्टियों में during holidays make it up. Okay, you must be authorized a certain amount of annual leave or something. Which where are you working now? Corporate नहीं क्या?
Senior research fellow, central.
जहाँ पर भी हो, तुमको छुट्टी भी कुछ ऑथराइज होता होगा, isn't it? इसे मैं उस टाइम पे मेकअप कर लूँगा. If I'm not able to do it in 3 hours, 4 hours, उस टाइम पे मेकअप कर लूँगा. And let me tell you, if you're studying for 5 to 6 hours for 6 months, this exam is cleared. You don't require more studies than this. We are wasting more time actually, frankly, this thing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
So can we, in our dev, can we fill those achievements for which we don't have any certificate or medal?
You can do that if you are yourself satisfied that it is an achievement. तुम खुद satisfied हो कि मैं अच्छा किया हूँ, because everything doesn't get a certificate. Okay, doesn't get formula. और तुम खुद हो कि यार मैंने अच्छा काम किया हूँ, मैं किसी को मैंने बचाया, एडवेंचर लिया, अच्छा काम कर लिया, मैंने अपनी टीम को जिता दिया. Yeah, it's an achievement. Simple as that. You should be convinced that yes, I have done it. ठीक है ना? At the end of the day, it is you who matters. Let me tell you. हम तो मुझे 5-6 बुढ़े आपको इंटरव्यू कर रहे हैं, ठीक है ना, कोई मतलब नहीं है, ठीक है ना. वी आर लुकिंग फॉर यंग डायनामिक लीडर. हाँ हमने क्या करते हैं, से ओके ये इज अ पर्सन वी नीड टू टेक यू. Get my point? Yeah.
Thanks.
So it happens a lot of time. We have always heard this one particular example. This story is often told. There was this aspirant who entered the room and he had a handkerchief coming out of his pocket, and the invigilator pointed to the handkerchief and asked, "What is it?" And he said, "It is a pronoun." And the interview was over, and he was given really good marks and got selected, and so on. This is a story that is very, I believe, everyone has heard. So when does the interview actually start? Like when we enter and and end. When does it start and when does it end?
It actually starts when you enter. It ends when you leave.
So we have to take care of our overall
Everything.
body language and
At
everything.
the moment you come into our vision, you are under assessment.
Thank you.
जैसे हम आपको नजर मिला देते हो, ठीक है ना, you are under assessment.
So
You are under scanner rather.
just another question for the male candidates: do we have to keep a clean shave or a beard or
ऐसे कुछ नहीं है. You can keep a beard but keep it trimmed.
in a shape?
Keep it trimmed if you want to have a beard. But if you can shave it, nothing like it. Because our generation, we not fond of beards. You know, you got to cater for this.
So it's better to not keep a
Yeah.
beard, but a mustache is better.
हाँ रखो, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Not nowadays beard is a trend. We don't keep that much. But then what happens is that some of the, I've seen some of my colleagues doing interview or something ना, they pass sly remarks. इसके hygiene की कोई sense नहीं है. आज इंटरव्यू के लिए आपने दाढ़ी नहीं काटा हुआ है, ठीक है ना. हम किसको एक्सप्लेन कर रहे हैं, सर उसने यार उसने दाढ़ी काटा हुआ मगर ट्रिम तो किया था उसने ना. नहीं यार मैंने देखा उसको ट्रिम नहीं किया था. अगर 2 दाढ़ी उसका निकल गई बिना ट्रिम का, अब उसको कैसे कन्विंस करें क्या वो ट्रिम नहीं किया था. तो why take a chance unless you got physical skin deformities, you know, where you want to where shaving is a issue, that's okay.
Thank you, sir.
Or religious thing like, तो इस काट लो, क्या प्रॉब्लम होता है, अच्छा वाला दाढ़ी निकल जाएगा उसके बाद, क्यों. Yeah, finished. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Sir, during interview, sometimes it gets very intense. There are 4 or 5 interview officers and we are sitting in front of them. Sir, sometimes we tend to worry that what the interview officer wants to hear from us. And in that pressure, we give wrong answers. So, sir, how to deal with situations like this, sir? Sir, in that situation where we are so worried that what the interview officer wants to hear, we give wrong answers. So,
No, that is incorrect assessment. We don't want to hear anything particular from you.
Okay.
We want to hear what you want to speak. Getting my point? So you have to develop your personality, develop your answer, develop your knowledge, develop your comprehension in such a manner that you are able to convey and express something yourself in a convincing manner that we are finding pleased to hear. There's nothing that we lay down that we want to hear from you. No. We are here to listen to you and give you a certain amount of marks. This is how you perform. A good singer will sing, will say appreciate a good singer or a bad singer. Getting my point? So a good debater will listen to that. So if you don't prepare yourself to convey a certain point of view by which you feel you are competent and you feel you are meeting the requirement of the interview board, apparently you will go wrong. If you start from a wrong premise that, okay, I would like to perform like this because this is what the interview board wants to hear, no, that's not the correct thing. So idea of that today we handled so many issues is that for you to give that little feedback and thought process that how exactly I could prepare myself.
okay, sir, there was a situation where the interviewer is asking what are the challenges to the coastline of India. And I'm giving so many explanations like the environmental challenges and security challenges. But sir, the interviewer at the end, he is asking about the drug trade that goes on, about the Golden Triangle and about the Golden Crescent. So sir, how to handle, after that wrong answer, the confidence goes down.
How do you know it was a wrong answer? You gave a part answer.
Yes, sir, I gave
See,
a part
point you gave a part answer. You could not give the complete answer. Nobody does. Nobody gives a full answer. ठीक है ना? अगर तुम 3 point बताओगे तो interviewing officer 2 point बता देगा.
Yes, sir.
That doesn't mean that you are not done well.
Okay.
Okay, there's inconsistent things. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir, this particular aspect was missed out. I just did remember, so it didn't come to my mind at a point of time. I think you're right, sir, drug is one of the most important things that is taking place. Okay. So you try to support him at least. ठीक है?
sir, okay.
And don't say, no, sir, what you're telling is incorrect and मैं जो बोल रहा हूँ सही है. वो नहीं है. Okay, because any answer can have 8 to 10 points.
Yes, sir.
एंड ह्यूमन तुम सडनली 3-4 से पॉइंट से ज़्यादा नहीं आएगा, ठीक है ना, बिकॉज टाइम नहीं होता है, फलान नहीं होता है. तो उसके बाद अगर इंटरव्यू ऑफिसर ने बता दिया 1-2 पॉइंट, सर आई थिंक दिस गॉट मिस्ड आउट, आई थिंक गॉट अ वैलिड पॉइंट.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
थैंक यू.